We are dreaming in the dark. We are nothing more than dust. Search but you stay lost. We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard. And I wonder where you are. Mysterious, that's the part you always show. 'Cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. Mysterious, that's the part you always show. You're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. We're dreaming in the dark. We are nothing more than dust. You search but you stay lost. Search but you stay lost. We're reaching for the stars. We're making this too hard. And I wonder where you are. Mysterious, that's the part you always show. 'Cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. Mysterious, that's the part you always show. 'Cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow.
Again. So stick around. So stick around.
world around us. They don't need to know. Come find me where the sun sets and say you'll never let me go. You're the one I want. Say you need me. Hide where I love. Don't let go. I know you feel the same. Say you need me. 'Cause you'll always be my broken love. Broken love. Broken love. Broken love. 'Cause you'll always be my broken love. 'Cause you'll always be my broken love. They don't know how we love when we're letting close. With you, I know I belong. Without all eyes on us, you're the one I want. Say you need me. Hide where I love. Don't let go. I know you feel the same. Say you need me. 'Cause you'll always be my broken love. Broken love. Cause you'll always be my broken love. Cause you'll always be my broken love. You'll always be my broken love. We are dreaming in the dark. We are nothing more than dust. Search but you stay lost. We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard. And I wonder where you are. Mysterious, that's the part you always show. 'Cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. Mysterious, that's the part you always show. 'Cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. We're dreaming in the dark. We are nothing more than dust. You search but you stay lost. Search but you stay lost. We're reaching for the stars. We're making this too hard. And I wonder where you are. Mysterious, that's the part you always show. 'Cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. Mysterious, that's the part you always show. 'Cause you're too
again. So stick around. So stick around. So stick around.
Leave the world around us. They don't need to know. Come find me where the sun sets and say you'll never let me go. You're the one I want. Say you need me. Hide away I love. Don't let go. Know you feel the same. Say you need me. 'Cause you'll always be my broken love. Broken love. Cause you'll always be my broken love. Cause you'll always be my broken love. You're so don't let it go. Cause you'll always be my broken love. They don't know how we love when we're letting close. With you, I know I belong. With that, all eyes on us. You're the one I want. Say you need me. Hide away I love. Don't let go. Know you feel the same. Say you need me. 'Cause you'll always be my broken love. Broken love. Cause you'll always be my broken love. Cause you'll always be my broken love. You're so don't let go. Know you feel cause you'll always be my broken love. We are dreaming in the dark. We are nothing more than dust. Search but you stay lost. We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard, and I wonder where you are. Mysterious, that's the part you always show, 'cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. Mysterious, that's the part you always show, 'cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. We're dreaming in the dark. We are nothing more than dust. Search for you, stay lost.
Search for you, stay lost.
We're reaching for the stars. We're making this too hard, and I wonder where you are. Mysterious, that's the part you always show, 'cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. Mysterious, that's the part you always show, 'cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. Reaching for the stars. I wonder where you are. Oh.
I need you again. So stick around. So stick around. I need you again. So stick around.
Leave the world around us me go. You're the one I want, so you need me. Hide away now, don't let go. I know you feel the same, so you need me. 'Cause you'll always be my broken love. Broken love. You'll always be my broken love. 'Cause you'll always be my broken love. You're so don't let it go. I know you feel it. You'll always be my broken love. They don't know how we love when we're letting close. With you, I know I belong. Without all eyes on us, you're the one I want. So you need me. Hide away now, don't let go. I know you feel the same, so you need me. 'Cause you'll always be my broken love. Broken love. You'll always be my broken love. 'Cause you'll always be my broken love. You're so don't let it go. I know you feel it. You'll always be my broken love. We are dreaming in the dark. We are nothing more than dust. Search but you stay lost. We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard. And I wonder where you are. Mysterious, that's the part you always show. 'Cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. Mysterious, that's the part you always show. 'Cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. We're dreaming in the dark. We are nothing more than dust. You search but you stay lost.
Search for you, stay lost.
We're reaching for the stars. We're making this too hard. And I wonder where you are. Mysterious, that's the part you always show. 'Cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. Mysterious, that's the part you always show. 'Cause you're
need you again. So stick around. So stick around. So stick around.
Leave the world around us. They don't need to know. Come find me where the sun sets and say you'll never let me go. You're the one I want. Say you need me. Hide where I belong. Don't let go. I know you feel the same. Say you need me. 'Cause you'll always be my broken love. Broken love. Cause you'll always be my broken love. Cause you'll always be my broken love. You're so don't let it go. I know you feel cause you'll always be my broken love. They don't know how we love when we're letting close. With you, I know I belong. Without all eyes on us, you're the one I want. Say you need me. Hide where I belong. Don't let go. I know you feel the same. Say you need me. 'Cause you'll always be my broken love. Broken love. Cause you'll always be my broken love. Cause you'll always be my broken love. You're so don't let go. I know you feel cause you'll always be my broken love. We are dreaming in.
Yo, what's happening? What's happening? You guys, I was smoking and I choked out on a damn joint, blew my fucking voice right on out. Holy smokes, what are you guys doing? Dude, come on. All right, we're gonna go over this. We gotta go over this Daniela Mendiola case. Shit, hold on. I heard we was doing super chat wars. Hold on a minute. Somebody had some little super chat little thing up today. Is that what we're doing now? Big Girl for Life, thank you for becoming a new member. Queen Widow, here's to the start of the train. Choo choo. Sherry, $20, sending some love to the hive. Thank you, baby. And Lost Mother, one gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, love. Thank you. You ain't token until you're choking, bitch. I done blew my fucking voice right on out. Shit. Yeah, it's like it was there and now it's gone. Yeah, I guess they I don't know, super chat wars. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that is. I didn't even know there was such thing as a super chat war goal fucking whatever that. I don't know what it is. I've never heard of it. I don't know. I don't know. There was one of them. One of them had it on this morning, set to 10. They didn't make their goal. I'm guessing. I don't know if they did or if they didn't, because I don't really watch shit. So, but they had a goal set to 10 of them. I don't think they made their goal, but I don't know. I like I said, I don't know if they did or not. I've never heard of it, so it's something new. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. It sounds like one of them fucking. I don't know, but I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like with YouTube or we were trying to figure it out. As a matter of fact, I was like, what is that thing? That's pretty damn neat. What's funny about the well, shit, my voice can't take it. You know what I'm saying? Any kind of yelling will blow my fucking voice right out. Any kind of coughing real hard will blow my voice right out. You know what I'm saying? I can't be fucking around. My voice can't play that shit. My voice can't take it. It just can't take it, baby. I'll get this pinned real fast. But anyways, Chasing made a really good video and she corrected a lot of information and put a lot of information out there that we didn't even know. And I'm really grateful that she did because it was really good information to have, you know. Some of it we went over yesterday, but I did not know it was an hour away from our house either. So I'm kind of glad she did. And I trust her as a source or a resource. You know what I'm saying? I trust her. Her, in my opinion, gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much, baby. I appreciate that. Miss Firefly gifted 10 memberships. Thank you, baby. I appreciate that. 17 months with me. Many more to come. I know that's right. Thank you for being here, baby. Thank you for being here. Hollis, thank you so much for the 99-cent super sticker. I appreciate that love. Thank you for showing love to the hive. All right, let's see. Let's get this better. Chasing, she made a video about it, and it's like 25 minutes long or 20, not 28 minutes long, something like that. I'll link it in here. It's her video. Make sure you guys go give it a like and a sub and stuff. She did a really good job. She put the facts out there, which is good. Definitely helps. Especially when we know how Betty is, you know, we know what she's about. Um, so it's good to know why, what is with this case that she needs to get involved. There's always something behind it. You know what I'm saying? There's always a reason for what Betty does. You know what I'm saying? She don't ever just do it, in my opinion, just to be kind. You know, I mean, she just, no. Sending Carmen member for 7 months. Thank you for being here. And JP's member for 13 months. Dang, flying right on by. Gosh dang, girl. Gone Girl gifted 10 memberships. Thank you so very much. I appreciate that. And I did hear the rumor that Hulu was there, but I did not see them there. I have not seen um, any clips or anything of them there, but I did hear that that was a rumor going around. And if that's the case, then right there, bing bong, that tells you right there why she's there. Otherwise, I feel like she's, in my opinion, riding Olivia's coattails. I mean, that's what she does. She rides Olivia's fucking coattails. Oh, Miss Rowena. Oh shit, you been behind, girl. You been at Chili's, huh? You been at Chili's now, huh? Is this the fun, the Chili's fun, or is this just you showing love, baby? Gifting 20 memberships. I know that's right, baby. I appreciate you. Thank you for showing love. Tribal Gal gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much, love. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, Chasing Truth made it. Yep, it's a video. She said it's an hour from her house. She says it in this video. So this is an hour from where she lives. You just advocating for a little bow? Huh, row. Out here advocating for a little bow. You know what? I love my people. They're beautiful over here. Look, I don't give a fuck. I don't care if you live in a damn shack or a fucking mansion. If we're friends, we're friends. I don't care if you come. I got friends in low places. I got friends in high places. I love them all the same. I don't give a fuck. We got some damn good people over here that have made some, made some mistakes. We got some good fucking souls over here. I promise you we do. I've met some amazing people over here. Who said that? Member for 20 months. Go ahead, baby doll. You got 4 more months before you get the golden bee. The little golden bee. Oh, here, road to 21K. I know that's right. I know that's right. Oh, thank you, Tribal Gal. You guys always show love. You guys always show me love, no matter what. Stacy, you know what? I was kind of grateful that Chasing had done the time and it put the time and energy into making this video, because then, like I said, it kind of gave me a little more of an idea of how things went. And there's it's really a good video, actually. Like I said, I'll link it, and you guys can make sure you guys go over there and like it and sub up and stuff. It's actually really informative as well. So, because you guys, we know how Betty is. That's the thing. We know how Betty is. That's all there is to it. And we can't fucking believe what she says. Now, I will say she came right out the gate saying the guy was on drugs and alcohol. Well, Betty didn't get that from nowhere. She didn't just pull that out of her ass. So I'm guessing she heard that from somebody or heard that from somewhere. And immediately when this comes on, Chasing shows the lady who's the neighbor who thought she's seen him with glossy eyes and thought he was under the influence. So that's how misinformation gets spread. And it gets spread fucking fast when you do that shit. Because now Betty got people thinking this man was out here drunk as hell and hit this little girl. Not only that, they do we'll just play this because it's like I said, it's really informative. So we'll just play this and go from there. All right, here's Chasing's link to it's in the chat for this video. I just hope they don't turn this case into a shit show like they have the other ones, or another money-making circus.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to talk about a heartbreaking tragedy that recently occurred about an hour away from me in North Carolina. On August 20th, a devastating hit-and-run accident claimed the life of Daniela Mendiola, a bright 17-year-old. My heartfelt condolences go out to Daniela's family as they navigate this senseless loss. Our local news has been closely following this case, but unfortunately, it's been marred by misinformation on social media. Some have turned this tragedy into a racial issue. while others suggest that the driver, Joshua Brown, wasn't arrested because his father is in law enforcement. Recently, I noticed that Olivia and Betty have joined the protests surrounding this case. It's worth mentioning that Olivia and Betty have a reputation for sensationalizing cases, which adds another layer of complexity to the situation. In a poignant video dated September 7, 2024, Olivia interviews a neighbor who witnessed the aftermath of the accident. Let's listen to what she had to say.
And I did not recognize her. So then I walked back over and I was like, so what happened? And Joshua said, I hit her. I thought it was a deer. She was in the middle of the road. Now, his eyes were bloodshot. He was either drunk or had been drinking or he was high. He stayed in front of the vehicle, the other gentleman on the side. And that was all he said. Other than here, I would tell my story over and over again because I was here before the EMTs, fire, police, anybody. He was like quiet. He didn't have like a demeanor. He was just like silent. Like it's almost like someone had told him, just don't speak. Don't speak. Don't give anything away. But I mean, he'd already gave it away that he had thought he had hit a deer and went home and came the fuck back. And I'm sorry for my language, but this is like a very angry subject and I cuss a lot anyway, so. But yeah. Like I've heard that he's related to somebody in a department and stuff. I have a friend that works at a store up in Liberty that said that his dad was a.
I heard her dad was a sheriff. Like there's a lot of, I heard, I think maybe this, maybe that. This is where a lot of her information is coming from. Credit goes to Chronicles of Olivia. So Chronicles of Olivia did this interview with her.
His dad was a sheriff for Randolph County. And I've also heard that his
Lucid, don't you even start or you're going to go straight to hell.
dad was a sheriff or something for, aliments or a trooper. So I'm like, well, I don't know who the hell he's related to, but he's got to have some kind of damn pool somewhere. And that doesn't make it right.
Quote, I came home and walked over to the car and spoke to Joshua Brown. He was drunk or high because his eyes were bloodshot. He kicked her cell phone out of the road. Daniela's boyfriend comes outside and asks both men which of them were driving the car. The men were Joshua and his dad. His mom was in the car. Joshua was quiet, as if he had been told not to say anything. I have a friend who works at a store in Liberty, and she said that Joshua's dad works for Randolph County. I've also heard his dad was a sheriff of something, Alamance or a trooper. So I don't know who the hell he's related to, but he's got to have some kind of damn pull somewhere. I saw court footage, and they had him mixed up with some other guy. So okay, if he doesn't have charges, how do we know they didn't get them expunged from his records? And he likes to go fast. We saw his TikToks. End quote. These are serious allegations and concerns raised by those who were there at the scene. While I'm not asserting the truth of these claims, it's important to consider all perspectives. Let me provide a bit more context. On the night of August 20th, Joshua was driving on Oak Grove Church Road near Garrett Road in Alamance County. Daniela was leaving her friend's house, waiting for another friend to pick her up. Joshua collided with her vehicle, initially thinking he had hit a deer. He then went to his parents' home nearby and realized the damage didn't match hitting a deer. He asked his parents to bring him back to the scene, at which point he understood he had hit a person. A state trooper arrived after Joshua had already returned to the scene. The trooper believed Daniela was walking in the middle of the road when she was struck. Despite the circumstances, Joshua was allowed to leave the scene after being spoken to by the officer.
Okay, so I understand, being upset. So, put yourself in his shoes. He hit something. He thought it was a deer. He went home. The damage did not match. So he went back to the crime scene where, or scene or whatever. It's crime scene now, but went back there only to realize he, with his parents, only to realize he hit a little girl or younger girl. I'm sure he was in fucking shock. I'm sure he didn't know what to say. What the fuck do you say to that? I mean, absolutely. He should have been arrested right there. I agree. He should have been arrested right there. But I just feel like there's a whole lot of assumptions being made and things that are I heard, or I think, I was told, I was this, I was that. I mean, shit. We ain't even but 4 minutes into a 28-minute video, so I guess let's keep going. I'll quit stopping every 2 seconds, y'all, but damn, I don't know, man. Here, it seems BHB and Olivia are making lots of assumptions based on this interview. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like, based on the interview Olivia did, they're pretty much going off what this girl's saying.
Sir. Initially, the protests seemed justified.
And it did, because I believe he should have been arrested. I believe that as well. And again, thank you for making this chasing and breaking it down for us, because you know how this goes.
There were no charges filed against Joshua because he did return to the scene after realizing his mistake and waited for the police to arrive. However, the lack of charges has fueled further unrest and suspicion within the community, resulting in wanting more clarification, which they were owed. On September 5th, 2024, an article was released from Alamance News. Here is it. The slow moan of traffic in Court Square was briefly drowned out on Tuesday when a crush of demonstrators rallied on behalf of a teenager who was fatally struck by a motorist on the outskirts of Liberty 2 weeks ago. This pop-up protest raised quite a stir that afternoon with its demands of justice for Daniela Mendiola, whose death on August 20th had become a cause for many Latinos in Alamance County. Aside from their grief over the 17-year-old's untimely fate, the participants in Tuesday's demonstration were also exasperated by the lack of criminal charges, which at that point had met the 38-year-old driver who ended her life. Trejo supporters channeled their pent-up frustrations over this apparent miscarriage of justice into a boisterous chorus of "lock him up" that ricocheted across Court Square on Tuesday. The pleas of these protesters were apparently answered on Wednesday, when the NC Highway Patrol, which had previously been reticent to file criminal charges, formally lodged a felony charge against Josh Thomas Brown for his alleged role in Trejo's demise. According to an arrest warrant that the state agency filed that afternoon, the 38-year-old white male, who hails from 8963-B Pleasant Hill Church Road in Liberty, had failed to remain at the scene of the accident.
Yeah, she wanted to make a correction. So he did not collide with her in her vehicle. He collided with her. She was not in a vehicle. She was standing in this driveway, or on the side of the driveway. Hold on, let me see what she said. They have him. Okay, they gave him a breathalyzer and he wasn't drunk, so they allowed him to leave. But I wanted to make sure these guys knew that there was a, let's see here, Joshua collided with her vehicle, and then she said, my fault, he collided with her. My apologies. And I wanted to make that clear so people weren't confused. Hey, B. Tim, what's up? Nope. Hey, B. Tim, what's up?
How you doing? Just jumping up. Just keep quiet while you play it.
You got a little time? I didn't know if you were still working or busy or whatnot. So
I just finished about 20 minutes ago, so I'm eating my...
Well, have you seen this already then?
No, I have not.
Okay. Chasing made this in a really good... It's an hour from her, so she had time to sit down and go over it. She knows, obviously, a little more about the news and stuff. And so she went over, and I thought that was great, actually. I thought that was really nice to put all the facts together and put everything together in a nice little video, you know.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good so far.
Today.
I'm listening to it so far. It's pretty good so far.
Yeah, she's done a very good job breaking it down. A very good job. So, Francine, how are you, baby?
I'm fine. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How are you, love?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm just jumping in just very quickly before I go out for dinner. Hi, Tim. I know my accent really annoys you.
No, it doesn't annoy me, but what's up?
Just quickly, right, before I go out, one, you've got an amazing truck, by the way. But two, right, why she jumped on another case? What is going on with this mental bird?
She jumps on a case where she believes that there's she can amp up and make it sound like it's corruption and stuff like that. And what she does is she basically tries to spread misinformation that makes it look like there's some sort of grand conspiracy of a cover-up so she can make money from it. And that's pretty much it. Because that's how she makes money. Because if you told all the facts of this case, you would say to yourself, yeah, the guy messed up. He left the scene, and he probably should have been arrested right there. But in the end of the day, he wasn't drunk, and he wasn't on his phone, it looks like, because they did a cell phone dump on this. They actually looked through his phone. So, you know, and the problem is they want molecular manslaughter, and I don't think they have enough to charge him for that. Because they can't prove he was drowsy. He wasn't on drugs. You know, I don't think they can find out if he was speeding. I don't know if they, so it's like there's issues with that. And then the problem is that, you know, it started off the right way, but then as it always does, someone comes around and takes advantage of it, and that's what's happening. So, you know, the saying goes, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, I guess. And that's what you're seeing. Does that answer your question?
Exactly. Listen, one more thing. Who needs to fuck up? One, that's the first one, right? Sorry, Queen, for swearing. And two, it's a completely sidebar here, by the way. I can't find how to buy membership on your channel. I've been gifted till the 5th of November, but I can't seem to buy one. Queen?
There's a little money symbol down there at the bottom in the right hand corner. You click that and it should have memberships on there. It should have like a super chat or a membership.
Okay, thank you. Anyway, good night. I'm going out for dinner. I love you guys. Have a good night, and I'll do replay later.
You as well. Thank you, ma'am.
Have a
good night, Francine.
Thank you, darling. Bye, 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 bye.
Bye. Alrighty, here we go. We're gonna get back to it.
Until he received the all clear to do so from law enforcement. Although Brown did return ahead of the state trooper, who was sent to the site, his previous departure compelled the highway patrol to charge him with 1 count of felony-level hit and run, resulting in serious injury and death. Later that day, the highway patrol issued a news release that credited newfound information for the agency's about-face on the decision to file criminal charges. The news release added that Brown voluntarily went to the county jail to turn himself in at 5 p.m. on Wednesday and was charged with a window tint violation, in addition to the aforementioned felony. According to the news release, Brown has been placed under a secured bond of $50,000. Brown's arrest for felony hit and run was still more than a day away when Trejo supporters were pounding the proverbial pavement on Tuesday afternoon. But even then, the wheels of justice seemed to have started to move for the deceased teenager and her well-wishers. Shortly after Tuesday's demonstration, Brian Martin, a state trooper with the NC Highway Patrol, told the Alamance News that his agency had just met with prosecutors about this case, which his agency had initially investigated without filing any charges against the driver. "We just met with the DA's office at 2 p.m. today," he informed the newspaper that afternoon. "After that meeting, everything we had, we turned over to the DA's office, and they'll determine whether to pursue charges." The Highway Patrol's aforementioned news release also alluded to this interagency confab, where the agency's collision reconstruction unit reportedly presented the DA's office with the newfound information that resulted in Brown's arrest on Wednesday. Martin was quite frugal with details about the collision when he spoke to the newspaper's reporter on Tuesday. The state trooper acknowledged that his agency had initially received a call about the pedestrian fatality at 9:45 p.m. on Tuesday, August 20th. He also pinned down the site of the accident as Oak Grove Church Road, a state-maintained route in southern Alamance County. The Highway Patrol's subsequent warrant fills in many of the particulars that Martin had kept close to the vest during his conversation with the Alamance News. According to the text of the warrant, State Trooper A.J. Lynch reached the scene of the accident at about 10:10 p.m. to find Brown waiting there with a vehicle that wasn't involved in the collision. The narrative goes on to identify the original vehicle as a Volkswagen Stett passenger car, which had been heading north on Oak Grove Church Road when it struck a pedestrian. The Volkswagen passenger car then turned around and left the scene, the arrest warrant goes on to recount. Approximately 15 minutes later, the driver, Joshua Thomas Brown, arrived back at the scene in the passenger seat of a different vehicle. Once Trooper Lynch arrived on scene and questioned the driver, the warrant continues, Brown stated that he thought that he hit a deer. He then drove the vehicle to his parents' house, assessed the damages on the vehicle, and decided to get his parents to drive him back to the scene because the damage did not appear to be from a deer. The Highway Patrol had previously offered a somewhat sanitized account of this accident when it issued a news release in the immediate aftermath of the accident. According to this pithy communique, Trejo had been traveling as a pedestrian in the middle of the roadway when she collided with Brown's 2011 Volkswagen. The news release adds that Brown was unable to avoid the pedestrian, who died on scene, before it declares that Brown will not face charges for the collision. The state agency's subsequent accounts of the accident have confirmed some of the information that has been circulating in news outlets and on social media since Trejo's death. It also dispels some of apocryphal claims about the accident, including a rather persistent canard that the Office of Alamance County's sheriff had initially handled this investigation rather than the NC Highway Patrol. Other oft-cited assertions remain up in the air. These include an understanding which prevailed among the participants in Tuesday's demonstration that the driver who struck Trejo is the son of a former state trooper. This particular claim seems to have been a source of some interest to Alamance County's District Attorney, Sean Boone. When contacted following his meeting on Tuesday with the Highway Patrol's representatives, Boone acknowledged that he was still waiting to get some information before proceeding any further with his own investigation. He went on to make an oblique admission about one outstanding item when the Alamance News asked him directly about the rumors of Brown's familial relationship with a former state trooper. "If you find that out," he said, "let me know." The second article came out later that day from the district attorney with the same news outlet. Local court and law enforcement and officials are trying to deal with a whirlwind of misinformation surrounding the hit-and-run death of Daniela Mendiola, 17, which occurred on the night of August 20th in southern Alamance County. District Attorney Sean Boone tried to address some of the most notable aspects of misinformation that have been stirred up about the accident, largely on social media, in an exclusive interview with the Alamance News on Thursday, after the print edition of the newspaper had already been printed and distributed. Thursday's edition of the newspaper has reported the arrest of Joshua Thomas Brown, 38, white, male, 8963B Pleasant Hill Church Road, Liberty, who was charged on Wednesday with felony hit and run causing serious bodily injury or death. An additional infraction was added for a window tint violation. In the intervening 2 weeks, between the fatal accident and formal charges, more than a dozen or so demonstrators took to Court Square in Graham prior to Brown's arrest with signs and banners, protesting the absence of charges in the teenage girl's death. Among the most serious accusations made by some of the protesters and on social media has been that the Highway Patrol was showing favoritism or involved in a cover-up in not issuing charges, ostensibly because Brown was the son of a former or retired highway patrolman. In fact, according to Boone, we have found no relation of the driver to any person in law enforcement. Not the Highway Patrol, not the Alamance County Sheriff's Office, nor any other law enforcement agency. Some of the other egregious social media posts had misidentified the law enforcement agency that investigated the accident as being the Alamance County Sheriff's Office, rather than the Highway Patrol. The Sheriff's Office had no role in the investigation whatsoever, according to the department's public information officer, Byron Tucker. Tucker acknowledged that he and other officials, including the sheriff, have continued to receive calls and emails questioning the department's failure to file charges in the case, even though it wasn't their case in the first place. Another dimension of the swirl of social media misinformation has been an assertion or allegation that the driver was drunk and or had a history of drunk driving. DA Boone says his investigation has revealed there is no evidence the driver was impaired or had any history of previous episodes or arrests for driving while impaired. In fact, there is no evidence of speeding or any other moving violation, Boone says, based on information gathered by the Highway Patrol. Boone acknowledged that a history of impaired driving could have had an impact on the type of charges filed, but only if such a history existed, since a pattern of dangerous driving could have added the key element of malice, which might have.
So they have to go by certain guidelines to charge someone.
But
so in order for them to go ahead, I'm sorry, V2.
You finish. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, in order to charge her or charge him for her death, they have to go through certain. There has to be certain elements to this crime. They have to have certain things to.
I honestly think it's going to be a tough case to win with even current charges with the hit and run, because they have to prove that he left the scene of the crime, scene of the accident. And the problem is he returned 15 minutes later. And that's, you can easily explain that. A jury might be sympathetic if he explained it away and said, listen, I thought I hit a deer. I came back 15 minutes later. I met with the police officers. I exchanged information. It's a tough case as it is. And if you're going to up the charges, it's just going to have the defense attorney say, well, you're overcharging my client. They're doing this for politics. They don't really care about, the laws. And it's it's a tough case already.
Yeah, it is. And so Carrie Moody says, Betty said a film crew was following them. I don't believe that. In my opinion, I think that's horse shit. I don't think there's anybody with a film crew out there. I think other than Olivia, there's no other film crews out there. This case is only 2 months old. 2 months, happened 2 months ago. And The guy has been charged. There's no big. I mean, there's cases out there that are way bigger than this. So why would Hulu film this specific case? There's nothing outstanding in this case. They would follow her around and make a movie on this case. I'm not buying that. Sorry, I'm not buying it. Who said that? Member for 20 months. Thank you. Blank screen says Road to 2000. Okay, we read that one. Let's see. Stacy White, member for 3 months. Hey, Queen, glad to be here. JS. Okay, gonna bring my monkey on panel one of these days. Oh. Wishful thinking. Thank you for the breakdown. Yeah, I thought this was really nice of Chasing to give a breakdown like this. It was very well needed because I could see social media was already going to be up in arms over this. Did any of these people consider he may have had bloodshot eyes because he was crying after realizing that what he had actually done? Yeah, because I mean, nobody gets emotional when they hit someone and realize that they hit someone instead of a deer, that they thought they had an animal and they had an actual person. Wishful Thinking said, this is why I love Chasing's channel. Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you sub up. She does her own content. She has a lot of her own content. So, let's see here. Sunshine, Texas. Thank you for becoming a new member. I appreciate that. And Bonnie, love this chat. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for being here, baby.
I mean, the thing is, like, it's going to be a tough case because the roads are dark.
Yeah, he doesn't have a history. He has no history of hit and runs or hitting or drinking.
Yeah,
no.
He's not on his. He's not on his cell phone. It's dark. I think the mileage per hour. I think you can go to 55 there. You can easily see that. I mean, I think the best case scenario that the DA would probably have is like try to say like the tints on his windows were dangerous. It was too dark, and that it was reckless for doing that, or do something like that. But even then, that's going to be a tough case because he came back to the scene 15 minutes later, and that it's not like he left the scene and never came back. So, I mean, but this is the problem. Like, a lot of people are too emotional. They don't realize, like, when you charge someone, you got to get a conviction.
Well, yeah, they want a conviction, so they want to charge them accordingly, especially when they have to prove it in court. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. A Blank Slate said, my mother hit a bicyclist that was crossing traffic. She never saw him. She beats herself up and about it still 50 years later. It is normal human. He is a normal human and he will never get over it. Absolutely. And also, yes, there's news crews out there. There's a lot of news crews out there getting this on because at first, like they said, it was racial. So there's a lot of misinformation that's going on that's causing this to be, causing this case to be in an uproar. And just like she said, Betty came right on her live stream and said he was drinking, he was drunk, he was possibly on drugs, he had possibly been on gummies.
And no one, and the problem is like,
and Chase right here, she said it's our local news. It's not Hulu. There's no video movie deal over this. Stop that. Stop that, Betty. Stop it.
It's just ridiculous, honestly. It's like so many lies in one lie. Less than 3 minutes of her live, you can just catch like 4 or 5 lies.
And this right here is why I'm grateful as hell that she did this. This is an hour from Chasing. I'm so glad she did this video because it tells all the facts right here, all the information right here in one video. It's irritating that she does this to these cases, though, because there's really no reason for it, especially to cause the family more stress and more, crap. In my opinion, legend says true or not. I've sent Hulu an email, BHB, the white power clip. They should know who they're recording and publishing, and BHB doesn't deserve the publicity. Whoa. Miss Blue Travels, sometimes an accident is exactly that. It's an accident. Yeah, and I mean, if he went, he left the scene of an accident thinking he hit a deer, and then when the damage didn't add up, he probably went in and said, Mom and Dad, I need you guys to take me back here. I don't think it was a deer. I'm not sure if it was a person, but I need to go back here and check this like now. I'm sure he didn't know what to say when he realized there was a young, beautiful girl and her life was gone way too soon, and it was because of him. I'm sure he's probably...
By the way, the Streamlabs link is not pinned, by the way.
Let me get that bad boy pinned up there because I've been dropping it and forgetting to pin it.
Have substantiated a higher, more serious charge, such as second-degree manslaughter. Some of the girl's supporters have pressed for more serious charges, even after the hit-and-run charge was filed against Brown. It was a tragic accident, Boone concluded. The actions that resulted in criminal charges were due to Brown's actions after the collision, Boone stressed. During his interview with the newspaper, Boone read from the applicable North Carolina felony statute, NCGS 2166A, for a hit-and-run charge, stressing that it applies to a driver who is involved in a crash causing serious bodily injury or death. Other key elements are that the driver knows or reasonably should know that the vehicle is involved in a crash that has caused serious bodily injury or death, fails to immediately stop at the scene of the crash, fails to remain with the vehicle at the scene until a law enforcement officer completes an investigation of the crash or authorizes the person to leave and the vehicle to be removed, facilitates, allows, or agrees to the removal of the vehicle before the completion of an investigation of the crash by a law enforcement officer or before receiving consent by the officer to leave. Boone would not confirm or comment on the sequence of events after the accident, but the Highway Patrol's warrant says after hitting something in the roadway, Brown then drove the vehicle to his parents' house, assessed the damages on the vehicle, and decided to get his parents to drive him back to the scene because the damage did not appear to be from a deer. Brown is said to have consented to having his cell phone downloaded, and there was no indication of apps being used, his texting, or doing anything else that might suggest he was distracted while driving.
So they even checked to see if he was texting on the phone. They did a breathalyzer. Hey, you're up here with us, Nicole.
Hello. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can. How are you, love?
I'm good. Hey, I just wanted to say, as for I live in Illinois also, but I got a window ticket for tip one time, and I had drove that car. It was installed, factory installed. You know, before I even bought the car, and when I drove it for like 2 years in my town, state cop happened to come through, pulled me over, and you know the way they measure tint, you know they put a little thing on the back window, and then on the front window they add it together. And then if it's over a certain point, you get a ticket. I just think the window tint ticket was just another ticket, just to kind of just give him another ticket. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They couldn't really give him a seatbelt ticket because they didn't have it. So I really think that I don't believe that it would,
That-
you know, avoid where he wouldn't be able to see or something like that.
Yeah,
I just think
I just think there might be, and don't beat me up for this. I think it's going to be a very, very tough case to convict this guy.
I agree.
Because I mean, the defense is like he came back 15 minutes later. He waited for the cops. Cops came 21 minutes later after 21 minutes after the collision. So calls up the cops. Someone called up the cops 6 for them to come. He's there. He's waiting for the cops. I mean, I think it's a very tricky situation, and I think like you can make a case that he might be. There might be a chance that he's being overcharged. To be honest with you, but that's just the feeling I have. You know, don't beat me up for it though.
I think that it's horrific, right? I mean, it's just horrific. And any way you look at it, it's horrific. But I believe I'm with you. I think what they got him for is what they're going to get him for, if that. But vehicular manslaughter for someone that hits, I mean, it's horrible, but it happens every day, right? I mean, people get killed, kids, and, you know, from vehicles and, you know, cars. And I just, to now start saying, you know, people are starting things that he's on, you know, the M word, and I mean, just terrible. And just to think, I don't know, it's just another thing.
I mean, I mean, and for them to be like wanting to charge you with molecular, I just think like to me, sometimes bad things happen to good people. Sometimes good people do accidents, and I think the main thing you got to realize is like, you know, someone should be talking to this family, some sort of grief counselor or something, because even if they threw those overcharged and made him, that just seems to be injustice to him and to those people, because it's not like he went out there intentionally decided, oh, I'm going to run over someone, unless they have more evidence. But based upon the articles and what I'm seeing, there's barely enough evidence to charge him with what he's got, hit and run. Barely. And I think if I was on a jury and I heard just what I heard now with that article and everything, I would probably not convict him, to be honest with you, because he came back 15 minutes later.
Absolutely. My husband, and grandkids was in a really bad wreck about 2 years ago. The guy ran a stoplight. He didn't have a driver's license. He had no insurance, no registration, no nothing. My grandkids were airlifted, you know, to a St. Louis hospital. I mean, it was horrific. Thank God I had a little bit of insurance on my car for someone that didn't have insurance on theirs, you know. But even with him, I mean, I mean, nobody died, but I mean, it broke my grandson, which was 6 at the time, his femur in half. Strongest bone in your body, you know. So it was horrific, a horrific accident. But I mean, and he, like I said, had none of that. Didn't insurance, no driver's license, no nothing. And he got, you know, ended up getting a ticket for, you know, driving without a driver's license and no insurance, you know, and a little fine. I know nobody died, but it could have easily been the same way. And he had all those things against him. You know what I'm saying? Had been in trouble before and all those other things against him. And even then they couldn't do anything to him, you know, nothing at all. So I just think it's sad and I hate it for that family, but Betty's going to make it worse. That's all I can say. And that's heartbreaking. That's heartbreaking.
Absolutely.
I'll jump down. I just wanted to tell you about the window tint. Really, I mean, I think it
Good to
depends
know.
on your state, but here in Illinois, you know, you can ride with it until you can't, and then. But I bought my car; it was factory installed, so it wasn't something we put on there, and we still received
Yeah.
a $250 ticket for it. You know,
I,
so
I mean, like, I think with the problem, like Betty kind of represents people reacting emotionally, well, without any sort of like reason or thoughts in their head, like something like just a pure emotion, and they just go with everything, and that's the problem. It's like you can't go into these cases with only pure emotion because you have to try to figure out the facts of the case. And even if like you got the, you know, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove in the court of law. And if you go into the court of law with not enough evidence, that person gets acquitted and walks out. And she doesn't know that. She just thinks like it's like YouTube. Like I can just make a video and say whatever, and that's going to be enough. That's like, no, ma'am, that's not going to be
absolutely,
enough.
absolutely. And one more thing, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I watched her do when she was doing the protest or whatever, and they must have a bullhorn ordinance there because she started yelling on the bullhorn, then she gave the bullhorn to, I believe, the father, and she took it back. Then somebody comes around, and you see in the video, someone comes around and like tells her to come here. She walks behind, and then she goes back over there and she tells the dad, "Oh, we can't use the bullhorn," which I thought was funny. You know, I mean, it probably is, you know, they just can't use it there for whatever reason, you know, the noise or whatever. But she does tell him when they said we can't use the bullhorn. So, I mean, within one day of being there, she's already breaking their law, you know, by going out there and screaming, yelling over the bullhorn, and they had to tell her not that she couldn't do that.
Yeah, that just says so. She was told to stop at the bullhorn. You cannot disturb the peace here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So,
yeah.
you know, she always says she knows all the laws. She checks with the police before she begins and all that. Well, obviously she missed that law.
Well, she has a lot of experience with the law, so that's probably why. You know,
Yeah,
practice makes perfect.
absolutely. Absolutely.
She has a lot of practice.
I'll let you guys get back to the show, get back to the video. I was just sharing my little experience there.
I appreciate it, love. Thank you for
Okay.
coming out.
You guys have a great one. Bye-bye.
Me too.
Brown's 2011 Volkswagen sedan shows damage to the front left side of the body and to the left side of the windshield. That damage suggested to investigators that the teen was struck near the center line of the road, Oak Grove Church Road, where the accident occurred. Boone said most of the evidence gathered by the Highway Patrol has been shared with the victim's family, but still rumors and misinformation continue to circulate, despite law enforcement's best efforts to provide a factual account of the circumstances of the accident and the girl's death. As to why such misinformation continues to spread, Boone relayed two theories. Some well-meaning people repeating things without having all the facts, being the innocent interpretation. But he suggested another, more nefarious possibility, that others may have an agenda to stir things up, or may even hope to profit off of this. Before we wrap up, let's take a moment to understand the legal aspects surrounding this case. In North Carolina, hit and run incidents can be classified as felonies under.
Why is this blacked out? Is it blacked out just for me or is it for everybody?
It's blacked out. Maybe it's just like blacked out because she's reading an article.
No, because it shows up when I go over it. Hold on a minute.
Yeah. Let's figure it out. Let me see. Either direction he's traveling puts a young lady in the road. Those tire tracks in the grass, probably from him swerving during the impact. That's what I suspected. When I saw those tire marks, I thought to myself, what if like he hit her, swerved into the ditch a little bit, the grass, and then came out and then basically drove off. That's what I think. That was my initial thoughts when I saw that. Like the thought that, he's swerved into her. I mean, the problem is they don't have an eyewitness that states that. They could say, well, she was just waiting there, but how do you know that she wasn't crossing? You know what I mean?
All right, here we go.
Okay,
Serious
there it is.
or death. It escalates to
Can you see it?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, I didn't know if it was still if I didn't know if it was like I'm like, what is wrong with this? Is it just me or is it everybody? Dukas, stop it.
to a Class F felony. The criminal penalties for a hit and run depend on this classification. A misdemeanor carries a punishment of up to 120 days in jail and fines of up to $5,000. A Class H felony can result in 4 to 25 months in jail, suspension of the driver's license, and hefty fines. For a Class F felony, the penalties range from 10 to 41 months in jail, license suspension, and fines that can be as high as $20,000. Joshua was formally charged with a felony E on September 4th and was given a $50,000 bond, which is higher than the standard requirement. So, why are Betty and Olivia still involved in the protests? Let's delve into that.
As you guys heard, Daniela's life does matter. She was taken off this earth senselessly.
Black screen again.
She was sitting in his driveway when she was ran over by a man that was most likely on substances. It appears through rumor that he has association with law enforcement in this community.
There is no evidence that Joshua was impaired at the time of the accident. The claim that he was manufacturing gummies is purely an allegation without solid facts to support it. While there are driving videos showing him speeding, there is no footage proving he was under the influence, contrary to some of the claims circulating online. Looking into Joshua's past offenses, June 2008, possession of marijuana up to 1 Tartu ounce, guilty, 12 months probation. April 2009, speeding 65 in a 45 zone, lesser disposition, improper speedometer court fee of $225. December 2010, failure to reduce speed, dismissed.
But they shut the car down on Daniela. There's nothing wrong with this car. There's nothing. Why couldn't they have opened that? This just shows you the corruption in this town and how they're unwilling to help this young girl get justice. We understand that there are multiple
Corruption, always corruption.
They are protesting in Graham, North Carolina. Daniela was killed in Liberty 30 minutes.
Daniela was killed in Liberty 30 minutes away. Also, during Betty's video, she accidentally put the wrong state. I believe she put, I think Davis fan, or No Wire Hangers caught it. Let me see. She actually put Tennessee, I think, at one point, like TN or something like that. Let me see. I think it was like caught on Davis fan. Wait, no, I think it was No Wire Hangers, actually. Let me check. Let me see.
crimes more over than what they've charged this man with. He kicked his cell phone off the road. That is obstruction. That's tampering with evidence. Why is he still out here free? They gave him a $50,000 bond on a death of that beautiful girl right there. She deserves justice. What do we want? Justice.
As of today, I am unsure when his next court appearance is scheduled. I urge social media creators to collaborate with law enforcement and the courts, recognizing that the legal process cannot always move at the pace demanded online. Everyone is entitled to a fair and unbiased court hearing or trial. Labeling every police unit or county as corrupt.
Attorney's office. I am going to read the charge levied against you, and I'll give you the maximum sentence as to that charge. Then I will hear from the assistant district attorney, and he'll tell me about the allegations with that charge, if you have any criminal history, if you're on probation or not, and whether or not you have any recent failure to appears. Okay. Are you representing yourself in this matter?
No, I'm hiring a lawyer.
Okay. All right. In this particular hearing, you're going to speak for yourself. Okay. All right. So after the assistant district attorney gets done speaking, then I'll allow you a moment. If that's what you want to do, you don't have to say anything again. Okay. And then I'll make a ruling with regards to bond and so forth. Because it's my understanding that there is already a $50,000 bond that's been made. Okay. All right. So the charge against you is felony hit and run with serious injury or death. That's a class F felony, punishable by a maximum sentence of 59 months in prison. Do you understand that? Okay. I will hear from the district attorney.
Yes, sir, Your Honor. The allegations, it is alleged that on August 20th of this year, the defendant did commit the crime of felony hit and run with serious injury / death. It is alleged that he failed to remain on the scene unlawfully and willfully failed to remain on that scene of a crash involving after law enforcement completed an investigation of that crash and authorized the defendant to leave. The crash occurred on Oak Grove Church Road, and to make clear, he left before that investigation was completed. And it did result in the death to Daniel Trejo Mendiola. The defendant knew or should have known that the vehicle which the defendant was operating was involved in that crash, and the crash had resulted in serious bodily injury / death. Approximately on August 8th, Trooper Lynch responded to that accident, to that wreck that had in which the defendant allegedly struck the pedestrian. Approximately 15 minutes later, the defendant arrived back at the scene in a different vehicle in the passenger seat, and when questioned, the defendant stated he thought he had hit a deer. Afterwards, he had then drove to his parents' house in Snow Camp, and the driver assessed the damages and decided to get his parents to drive him back to the scene, as the damages did not appear to be a deer. Criminal history-wise, Your Honor, he was convicted of indecent liberties in 2010, obstruction in 2022, and he has a pending and he was convicted of driving while impaired in 2023 in Stanley County. He has a pending failure to report an accident out of Stanley County, unsealed wine passenger out of Stanley, and a pending DWLR repair out of Stanley.
Okay. Again, Mr. Brown, you do not have to say anything. Okay. And that is your right. So if you don't want to say anything, just say so that you don't want to say anything, and then I'll make a rule.
Everything that he just said is false.
Okay.
I don't know who they have put that stuff on.
With regards to the criminal history or
Yes,
something?
everything
Oh,
they just say criminal history wise, it's not me. I don't know who they have brought up. I don't know who they have there, but that's not.
okay. All right. We're going to issue the bond here. It's on this matter. It is 2B, in that the nature of the charges, the guideline amount is $30,000. Again, he was given a bond of $50,000.
Your Honor, I do want to correct the record. It is not him. It's a different middle name. They do have the same birthday and the same everything else. So I do want to correct the record. He doesn't have no record. I apologize. I do not know how it can be that close.
So he has no record.
Yes, he has no record. I want to be clear. He has no record. It is that close.
Okay. Again, the guideline amount is $30,000. You were given a $50,000 bond. I think going beyond the guideline amount is appropriate in this matter, given the fact that that there was an actual hidden impact with an individual. The fact that I've heard that you came back 15 minutes later, and also the fact you came back 15 minutes later in a different car. So given those facts, I am going to keep the bond the same at $50,000 because it's greater than the guideline amount. So I'm going to ask you, as a condition of your bond, that you're not to assault, threaten, or harass the family of the alleged victim. Okay. Obey all the laws of the land. If you do not have a driver's license, do not drive. There's no need to have a curfew or anything of that nature at this point. Okay. So the bond will remain the same at $50,000. When is this next court date?
His next court date, Your Honor, will be September 27th in A.
Okay. So please have your attorney paid for and ready to go on September 27th, courtroom A.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay. All right. Sir. Okay.
When they are not meeting our immediate needs may garner more views, but it does little to support the families enduring this tragedy. Standing outside yelling at a building does not aid the case. The law clearly outlines the penalties, and currently, Joshua is facing more time and a larger fine than what is typically allowed by law. Understandably, Daniela's family seeks justice and needs to feel heard, but having people yell that the police are corrupt does not help. Accusations are being made without any substantial proof, and that does not equate to justice for anyone involved. It's essential to remember that the legal system is designed to ensure fairness and due process for everyone. While emotions are understandably high, especially for Daniela's family, respecting the judicial process is crucial in achieving true justice. Let's focus on supporting the family and ensuring that the truth emerges through proper channels. Spreading unverified information and making unfounded accusations only hinders the pursuit of justice and prolongs the family's pain. Until next time, stay safe.
Yeah, I've never seen a mess up that badly where they got the wrong criminal background by the DA. That was wild. Yeah, I don't have a lot of faith in that DA, to be completely honest with you. Just a thought. It's crazy. Yeah. The problem is like, the guy's dealing with a criminal matter. I doubt he's got time to sue Bullhorn Betting. Let's just say that much. But it just shows you that the guy, you know, she does not know what the hell she's talking about. She's spreading misinformation. She's spreading rumors, unverified facts. And it's like, you're spreading rumors. You even state you're spreading rumor. That's what not like news stations do not do that. You don't go on CNN and say, rumor is I heard off the streets. Like, if that was the case, CNN would be sued immediately for a lot of money. But the DA only gets handed cases because they trust to let you do the job. Yeah, but I don't know. Messing up the criminal record at that, like, honestly, that judge already had a determination that he was going to keep the 50,000 bond. The DA could have kept quiet and said nothing, absolutely zero, and he would have kept it at $50,000. That's just how it was. But he still screwed up. The judge gave him like a look, like, are you serious? You're making me look like an idiot right now. Because he was about to, you know, base his opinion on keeping it there based upon like the criminal record he just read. And if that guy did have a criminal record like that, he would probably get a lot easier for vehicular manslaughter, probably. I used to work for a large company that almost fired me for something another person by the same name did. They finally realized she was a different middle name. Yeah. You see, by the time Betty and Olivia gets done, they will have hurt another family. Well, I mean, they're hurting the family right now because what the family needs to know is to be educated on what the circumstances is. And realistically, they need to be told this is a tough case to even get a felony hit and run intended, because he would have a hell of a good defense. I mean, all he needs to do is just basically show the road at night at 9:48, basically explain that, you know, he's driving at this mile per hour. He didn't see it. Say, why was she walking in the middle of the road? You know, they have no witnesses that state that she didn't walk in the middle of the road. They have the accident reconstruction person, and he came back 15 minutes later. It's not like, not like he was like, came back 5 hours later or something. 15 minutes later is quite immediate. So it's a tough case. It's a very, very tough case. They could get a conviction, sure, but if I was in a jury and I just heard those facts alone, I'd probably not convict him. I'd be like, he returned 15 minutes later. You know, family needs victims advocates to help them through the judicial process. Yeah, there's a witness stating he ran the stop sign. Yeah, but the problem is that how reliable is the witness? There is a video of the accident. There's a video of the accident. Okay, that's one I did not know. She wasn't in the road, though. I swear she wasn't. It's very obvious that he just, his version, just his, I don't know what his version is. Exactly the point of impact speaks. Well, the accident reconstruction is saying differently. YouTube screeds. Where is this video? You're telling me there's a video of this?
No, there's a reconstruction video of it.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, like, what?
No, they were reconstructing it because they said first she was in the road, and then they said no, she was in the driveway. She was in the driveway. He would have had to go up over the curb into the driveway. If she was standing at the end of the driveway in the road, then he would have hit her in the road. You know what I'm saying? Not, he wouldn't have went off road, is what they're saying. You know, so they want to do the reconstruction of it.
There's an actual there is an actual vote video, not a reconstruction video, an actual video, Jason. The video,
oh, I didn't know there was an actual video of her getting hit. I didn't know that.
I mean, I'm that's what I'm trying to find out. I'm trying to figure out if it's a reconstruction or an actual video.
She said you don't see her get hit. It's a real video, but not reconstruction. So it's a video of just like the neighborhood, or like body cam, or I mean, what is it? What do you mean? I guess I don't ring cam.
Is it like showing the conditions of the road at night or something? And like the, you know, like the surrounding area? Well, let me see. Of him driving over, then he hits her. Is this linked on your channel? Where is this? Where did you find this video? Is it on TikTok? I wouldn't be surprised if it's on TikTok, to be honest with you, these days. Let me see. You see him drive by and hear the collision. Where is this video? I'm not going to put it on if it's like that. I'm just going to watch it just to see what the hell it is. And yeah, I'm not going to watch it. I don't think it's a good idea to put on that video, by the way. There's an actual an actual collision that occurred. Okay, for a family prolongs and grief. He'll get a maximum of 5 years if he gets a conviction. That's if he gets a conviction, but you never know with a jury. You know, there's people like they took I mean, they take almost like a day and a half for Leilani Simon. I mean, you can have like GPS records, you can have a lot of things. Sometimes a jury, you know, it's very tough to get a conviction, especially in this type of case where you can easily make a case for either or. Yeah, be respectful, by the way, of the victim who died. Let me see. So Betty's back in Tennessee just on another case. No, apparently not. It's North Carolina, but she said the wrong state. Yeah, it's North. She basically in North Carolina, but in her video she put Graham, Tennessee. So she didn't even get the state right that she was in, that she traveled to. You can't make this up, people. Well, what you're going to need is an actual person, not an idiot, to look into the case. But the problem is like, you're not going to get all the evidence immediately. And it takes time for it to come to trial. But I mean, let's see what happens. But there's someone that has my name. Okay, let's see. When my help got hit, he was drunk. Ooh, I'm sorry about the Helen girl. That's terrible. There was a big rig and probably didn't even know. Yeah. Olivia moved to North Carolina, lives nearby. Maybe that's why she got involved. Maybe. I don't know why she got involved. That one. I have no clue. Hi, Wolf. Let me see. Betty has a gripped hard. She has to pay Seth until. Yeah, probably. She's also in the wrong county considering the accident occurred in Liberty, North Carolina. That's a good point. Why is she in Elemental? I don't know. I was hit by a drunk driver. Yeah. I don't know. I think it would be a tough case. And I think the problem is like Betty is telling this family that there's corruption and everything. And when that guy gets it, if he gets lucky, gets convicted for 5 years, they're still not going to be happy. They're going to think, oh, it's the corruption. He got off. Instead of realizing that, you know, that might be an overcharge. Because realistically, he might be able to walk away from not paying without going to jail. Well, I also said that they should get an attorney as well because they can pursue civil matters as well. Especially if, like, you know, as much as people want to talk about, they could pursue civil matters, sue for that, you know, if they want to continue. But the fact is like a lot of these types of cases are usually handled in the civil court, like that type. I think the DA needs to come out and speak. I think the DA has already came out and spoke. He spoke on an article. Although I think the DA needs to pick the right record of the person. That would be helpful next time. Operating vehicle safely is up to you. You need to know things. The word negligence is for what you should have known, even if you didn't. But I'm not saying that was the case here, just discussing. Yeah, I mean, the thing is that that's you have to prove in the court. You know what I mean? If the accident reconstruction person says, well, he didn't drive through the driveway and hit her, then that means that most likely she was in the road. It's dark. He's driving probably 55. Maybe he's clocking more speed, and they can figure that out, and they can get that charge in. Who knows? Maybe they would be able to get that charge in if they can estimate the speed he was going at. Who knows? It's oddly sometimes accidents are just an accident, But the DA spoke on it before Olivia did her interview, But he left the scene and came back in another car. Yeah, he left the scene. He went to his house. He went to his parents' house. He said he thought he hit a deer. They checked it out. Then he jumped into their car, came back 15 minutes later. If they, that kind of makes sense because you're not going to drive around with a busted up car back, obviously. You're going to drive to a safe location, check it out, and see what happens, I don't know. Hi, Kathy. 55 is speed limit, those county roads. Yeah. Yes, but B. Tim, we are talking about what if he hit her because his view was obstructed by some problem in the car he didn't fix. Just what if, to repeat, I'm not accusing him. Yeah, I mean, that's a case that I don't know if that's going to be the tactic of the DA. Maybe that's why he's at, I know they're probably sticking that tinted windows on, but I don't know if that's going to be the tactic. Could be the tactic. It would be a good tactic. They have to prove that his negligence, led to the death of this young lady, and could have been avoided. You know what I mean? That's pretty much it. And then he left the scene. Let me see. The video I sent does not show her get hit. It should reference how slow he was going. Sent to Queen. Queen, are you there? Queen. Let me see. Queen. She stepped away. She's probably dealing with Duke. Beatum, I think he may have come back in a different car to preserve the state of his vehicle, possibly. I think most likely, he probably hit something, kept on driving, and probably, was maybe
Yeah,
worried.
I'm listening. I'm driving, but I'm listening to you. So
Holy
I got
fuck.
unmuted. It's laying down listening. I'm just laying down on my lap and I'm listening to you, but I'm driving. So what's up?
Oh, you got sent a video by chasing it doesn't show her getting hit, but it shows the speed he was going at the time.
So you got it pulled up, or is that what you wanted to put on? Or?
She emailed it to you.
Oh, she emailed it to me. Okay, well, give me a second. I'll email it to you.
Okay. Jesus Christ, she scared the crap out of me. She just comes in here and screams, hey, I'm like, Jesus Christ. I swear to God, when Queen does that, that's just like spooky.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't want you to panic on me and say, Queen Bee, you there? Queen Bee.
No, I know.
I'm here. I'm right here.
Yeah. Oh my God. After realizing was a human hair on the car, I can imagine it was best his parents drove him back at the scene. It's not like yeah, and also like you hit something, you get worried. You're not gonna stop. I mean, what if you're thinking you hit a deer? You know what I mean? I don't know. You go to your house.
Well,
You go to the nearest.
It is scary. It is scary to hit a deer. I mean, it is.
Yeah, it is scary. Deers can fuck you up. By the way, I mean.
Hell yeah, that big body motherfucker coming through your windshield while you're driving. Shit.
Yeah, that's true.
They absolutely will fuck you up.
Let me see. I think I got your email. Give me 1 second. All right. I'm just watching it before I share it, just in case. Just give me a moment, because I. Okay. I think it'd be okay. They show his car basically driving, and then you hear a bang. You don't see anything. So I'll just share. It's a short, by the way, Queen. I'll share it. I got it. You just got to drop the screen, the fair use thing, and just I can share it. He doesn't. He didn't look like he was going fast. That didn't look that fast to me. Hinge infection gets okay. You can see it's pitch black. Yeah, it's definitely pitch black. There is no way you'd be able to see the condition. If you're going like 45, 50 miles or something like that, or 40, you're not gonna have enough time to stop, especially if someone's like in darker clothes. Hell no. So I'll play it right now. So this is him, supposedly him. And that sounds like the impact. Yeah, you could die from 14 miles an hour. That's for true. That's the truth. That was loud. Yeah, that was loud. Yeah. So, yeah, that's terrible. That's terrible. Jesus Christ. But you can see that he's not zooming down. It's not that fast. He's going. Like, at least to me, it doesn't look that fast. He's going. So, I saw a pedestrian stop. I wonder if the airbag's deployed. I don't know. We won't know until the trial, actually. What I observe is rather dark highway. Yeah, it's very dark. That's what I noticed the first time yesterday. I was like, okay, let me check the road, and I went to the news report. I looked at the road, and like, there's no street lights. And then I said, let me check the time, and it said 9:48 p.m. I'm like, okay, country, 9:40.
Did you see what Chasing had said? He comes around the corner. Within 3 seconds, he hits her, and he thought it was a deer. His windshield was cracked. He drives up the road, comes back, and stays for the police.
Yeah, 15 minutes later. Yeah. Did you see that video, by the way, that just played?
Half-assed. I mean, I'm driving, so it's...
Yeah. So basically, this actually shows the car coming down, and also you hear the impact. Just to let you know. Sorry, but the deer thing is just too easy to go to for me, and it wasn't even a snowstorm like Karen was facing. Let me see. Oh, don't bring up the camera right now. Maybe mute and let it play. Okay, I'll play it. Mute. So. Yeah, you kind of see it. He's coming around. This is him. See, comes around. That doesn't look too fast. No. So, okay, so, oh my God, people drive down those dark roads around a curve, accidents happen. Yeah. So how did she lay there for 40 minutes if he came back 15 minutes? Well, what happened was, according to the thing, was he came back, I think the accident happened at 9:49 p.m. Come back 15 minutes later, cops come back, I think 21 minutes later. Like, 6 minutes after that, my understanding, maybe like 6 minutes later, because the cops show up 21 minutes after the accident. So he's there 15 minutes. He comes back 15 minutes later. I'm not making excuses for him. I'm just wondering, because the thing is, you have to take in all the facts of the case. Simple as that. If the guy drove like, I don't know, that didn't look too fast to me. If he was like driving like 60 miles an hour, that would probably not be good for him. That would probably be enough to get a conviction, I think. Because you can just show he's reckless. He has a history of being a reckless driver, and then you can get a conviction for it. I don't know. Let me see. It's a horrible situation, but was not drunk and he wasn't flying down the road. We have to be fair. Yeah. If he was flying down the road, I think they would have a very good case against him. But they're going to play this video. They're going to play the other video. And that's not going to be good for the prosecution, I think. Yeah. The evidence we just watched from Judge Moderator, he came back as a passenger 15 minutes later. Yeah. And 21 minutes was, so basically it comes back 15 minutes later. Cops come, I think, 6 minutes after that. Cops come on scene 21 minutes after the accident, my understanding, I guess, based on the timeline of events. Let me see. No one seems to be saying why she was in the middle of the road. Well, she could be in the middle of the road for any reason. She could have just decided to cross the street. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I mean, to me, I don't know. Please tell me you don't think she's 60 and 55 is speeding. Don't think 60 and 55. No, I don't think that's speeding. But I don't even think he was going 55. I mean, did that look like he was going 55? I don't know. Though honestly, going, you know what I mean? I'm just saying. But you can be killed by a car going like 14 miles, like someone says in the chat. You're talking about a ton or 2-ton vehicle going in accelerated speed. You get hit, boom. You know, some people can just walk away, but some people don't. I mean, I've heard situations where like literally a grandmother who's like 80 years old gets hit by a car, 10 miles per hour backwards, boom, gets up, nothing, no treatment, nothing. Young adult, always got to have surgery on everything. It just depends on the angle and how you hit someone. It really does. There's a lot of science to it. Makes sense why she is in the road. Let me see. My non-profession theory is her friend was coming. Maybe she heard the car and walked out to meet her on the passenger side, but it wasn't the friend. It was him. Maybe. I don't know. There was no tire marks on the road.
Ellie, you up here?
What's up, Ellie?
Oh, hey. What's up?
What's up? What do you think of it? What do you think of the this video?
Yeah, I know. So this is like a security footage from somebody's.
Yeah, apparently
Wow.
that's what's being that. This is the security footage, and basically you see him come in, and then you hear the accident. Of course, they shut off the sound the second time. Obviously, people don't want to hear that. But basically, you see him driving, and you can see it's very dark. By the way, it's very, very dark.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like, it was like the insurance companies and it sounds like the police, they investigated this and it
Yeah.
sounds like it was an accident. But when it's an accident involving like a pedestrian in a car instead of a car in a car, it's different, right? But it
Yeah.
really sounds like it was like an accident. But I feel like this is like what's going on is that people have a hard time accepting accidents. A lot of times they want to blame somebody, especially like because of how long did he leave for? I heard different things that he left for 30 minutes.
No, 15 minutes.
See,
15
15
minutes.
minutes. Because he said he thought he heard maybe like hit a deer or something and then went
Yeah.
back.
I just
See,
want
so
to
that's the
read
same thing as
Chase.
stopping.
Yeah. I just want to read Chasing's comment. It says it's been released and is on both Facebook and TikTok. I just wanted to state that just in case anyone wants to go at Chasing for having this, just in case. It has been released by multiple outlets. So.
Got it. Huh.
But yeah, it's going to be a tough case because, he comes back 15 minutes later. It's a reason for him to, he thinks he hits a deer. He goes to the closest location, probably to his parents, has his parents assess it. The parents say, hey, we think let's go back to check it out.
Yeah.
He's not that, he's a younger guy. He's not that smart, maybe. You know what I mean? You can, and the parents being older, being like, hey, you can't just drive here. We'll just check it out to see if it's actually a deer. They come back to their horror. They see the scene. The cops come. You could easily make a case for that. Is that enough for you not to get convicted of that crime? I don't know. It depends on the jury, and it depends on how good the lawyers are.
But as if they're good, but they're not like prosecuting him for anything, are they? I thought
yeah, they are.
Like, oh, they
They're
are
prosecuted for a hit and run and tinted windows. That has a maximum of like 5 years.
Oh, for tinted windows. Okay, I didn't even see that. I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, I think felony hit and run. I think it's the charge.
Okay, felony hit and run. So not like a vehicular manslaughter or anything.
Oh, that would be higher. That's if like he was.
Yeah.
I think the only way you get that, I looked it up, is like you got to be like drowsy or drunk. Or
like, you know what? Like in my family, this happened like a long time ago. In my extended family, there was like this guy going 80 through, and he ran a red light, hit this person's car with 6 people, and they all died instantly. And he ended up, after a lot of stuff, he went to jail because he was speeding, and because of they like realized that he did have to have run that red light. So he committed like an illegal act, and then you know what I mean. So that made it into.
I mean, I'm reading like some just random Google. So just in case I'm not a lawyer, just stating this, just reading Google. You have to prove for a hit and run like this in North Carolina, you got to prove that they may also try to prove that the driver was to blame for the hit and run and was leaving the scene when the accident occurred. And like, you could make an argument for either one of those points. You can say, well, she was in the middle of the road, and how is the hell he's going to see her? Or you can make an argument, well, he came back 15 minutes later and he didn't know that he hit someone. And that's going to be the issue with that charge. And it depends how more evidence they're probably going to introduce. Obviously, we don't know all the evidence in the case. The prosecutor's not a YouTuber. They're not going to post their evidence on YouTube. They're going to wait until the trial, and we'll see if there's going to be a conviction or not on that one. I think because her friend was on the way, she heard it and was going across to get. Maybe that's what I think. That could be a good explanation. And I just like when I'm looking at this car like coming down, like I'm looking at it, and it's not going that fast.
No.
Yeah, it's not going like zoom. Yeah, it's not going that fast. Yeah. But either way, I think let me see. Obviously, when I hit a deer during daylight, it jumped out of the ditch right onto the road. I hit the dead center of my car, wrote my car off a big 87 station wagon, only doing 35 miles per hour. Deer crap, and even engine. Yeah, deers can be dangerous, man. Deers. You hit a deer, you can actually die from
bad. That. People do. Oh my God, it's like hitting like or moose.
Yeah,
you know, like in Canada up there.
IMO video slowed down. Is the video slowed down? If that's the case, then that would be interesting.
Oh, maybe.
If it's slowed down, okay. Maybe it's slowed down so that it can. Okay, that makes sense a little bit now. Okay, so I'm wrong. So if it's slowed down, then probably, then I don't know how fast the vehicle was going. Then if it's slowed down, I don't know how much slowdown it is.
Why would they slow it down though? If they're trying.
So you can see the video, so you can see the car, maybe.
Yeah. But maybe they should do it like regular speed and then slow down speed so you know how fast it's going. Right?
I don't know if it's slowed down or not, so I'm just gonna slow down. So I don't know. So either way, you just basically see the car coming. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, to be fair, and everyone doesn't know all the facts of the case. If I knew all the facts of the case, I'd be the prosecutor. So, to be fair, I mean, every case we cover, we don't know all the facts of the case. I tell you, I don't know all the facts. I'll tell you right now, every case we cover, the DA knows a hell of a lot more, and the cops know a hell of a lot more than your local YouTuber. And I don't care how good the YouTuber is, he can be Gray Hughes, investigates. I guarantee you the cops probably know more than him in the case, or the DA. You know,
Was the
it's just
tinting
how it is.
illegal? You said the tinting was an illegal like
Well, I
shade or
mean,
something?
someone brought up, yeah, I think someone brought up that it could be like, we don't even know if it's like something he added or was it just from the factory, just like, you know, basically it was on the car already.
If it was on the car already, then you
Well, you could still, yeah, but you could still be fined for that. I mean, just because it's on the
don't you
car
think it would
already.
be don't you think a car would be built to standards and even like adding, because I know like in California people add like crazy levels of tinting, but there's only a certain level that's like legal,
Yeah.
right?
So Gretchen's coming in with the facts. Says the prosecutor didn't even know his facts either, beat him. Technically, you're correct, actually, in that one. Sorry about that, Ellie. Ellie's mad at me. That's when she's angry. Or her dog's attacking her.
No. Yeah, I was being attacked.
Being attacked by the vicious dog.
Yeah.
Willow. The good Willow.
My God, she gets barky sometimes.
She gets feisty. She wants to be on the show. That's why.
Yeah. She's like, hey.
I want to be the.
To say.
I got something to say about this case too. That's good. We're gonna place Willow with, you know, Willow's gonna be the new Delilah on the show instead. You know, Betty's got Delilah. We got Willow, the barking dog.
The thing is, this won't turn into like. There's not a lot of. How many lives? It's been going for like a month. I saw right that Chronicles of Olivia was out there.
Yeah, but you know what the thing is? Cases like these don't actually build up based upon like new facts. It builds up based upon who enters into the scene.
Yes, exactly. If they could like talk to them, but like what kind of like, you know what I mean? Like it's not like somebody's missing. Like it already happened. Like what more could they add even by talking to both families? You know, like
I mean, I can already think of like, you know, Betty trying to go to the guy's house, protesting in front of the guy's house.
How long does that last, you know?
Yeah, well, that can last for 3 weeks, depending on what they want. You know what I mean? Like, I can imagine her, like, it depends on what she's willing to do if they ramp it up. You know what I mean?
Oh, you see what Felicia wrote? I'm in North Carolina and you can't have tints any lower than 35% unless you have a doctor's reason for needing it darker.
Oh, that's good to know. I did not know that. Thank you for that information. It's actually interesting. Yeah, and I don't know if this is like a factory tint, like it just came out of the, you know,
yeah.
He didn't remove them. And, you know, like that's another fact I do not know. You know, many cars are written off each day by deers over here. I'm middle of nowhere and no street lights. I've hit 5 foxes, rabbits. I don't see them.
Maybe Brianna would know about this because, like, insurance. I feel like does insurance not cover your? Well, how would they know?
Yeah,
I guess how would they know ultimately if you had a tint?
Yeah,
but if there's an accident and you have a tint, I bet she knows. I bet Brianna might know. She's an insurance expert.
Yeah. Kiss no, and it's an instance would be a good thing. Let me see. Well, Brianna's in the chat. She can answer your question.
Yeah.
I thought they were usually off market if they were illegal. I don't know.
Yeah, like you can't do it. But it's not like you get an inspection on your car that you would like your insurance would be denied or your registration would be denied. It would only be if like you were ticketed. You can get ticketed maybe for it.
Are you serious, Emerald? Betty and Olivia are playing the race card, which I feel puts. Why would Betty be what?
The race card? What race card is there?
Is she like saying like the county's racist against this family?
Oh, what?
Like, isn't this the same woman that said white power while doing like a sign and also proceeded to say that she was going after an African American lady at her job and she was going to track her down in every job because she believed that woman was racist against white people? Like, crazy. That is fucking crazy if that's true.
Well, they're saying like there's some kind of corruption right?
Yeah, but like, what's the corruption? Like the guy got arrested. They doubled his bond. They got him on a $50,000 bond for when it's 30,000. They're like, in my opinion, they're going for the highest charge they can possibly get at this guy, even though there's probably going to be a hell of a case, because I think it's going to be a very tough conviction, and the prosecutor's going to have to really put this case together to build a good case to get him in. And the most he's going to get is probably like 5 years in jail or something like that. If he really gets tippity top, which I don't think that's going to be possible. Maybe if he gets in front of that same judge, a judge would throw 5 years at him because, judge did not like him too much. But yeah, I don't know.
Oh, Brianna's in the back.
Brianna's in the back.
She's our expert on all of this. She'll know.
Yeah, Queen. Brianna's in the back. Brianna's in the back, Queen.
No, she's up here.
Nope, I'm
Here
here.
now.
Apologies in advance because it's windy as crap and I'm outside. So if you hear me, that'll be what's going on.
Okay, what's your thoughts?
Okay, so in a lot of states, now I can't say specifically for North Carolina because I haven't researched it, but in Illinois, they give waivers for low tint if it's that way when you bought it. And it doesn't matter if because so many states do allow tint at darker levels. So if you buy a car from a state where the tint is allowed and you bring it into a state where it's not, they will give you a waiver rather than ask you to do damage to the car you just bought.
Oh, that's good. That's nice of them.
But I don't know if North Carolina does that.
Somebody just said that. Well, somebody just said 35%. You have to have it 35%.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that.
But I don't know if North Carolina does waivers. I know Illinois does because I know people who have gotten the waivers in Illinois for cars they bought in Missouri.
Yeah, Wispy says it's tint is ticketed where she is. I know it's ticketed in California because people get crazy levels of tint on their cars. Like you can't see anything.
Right, and in those instances, it's generally more strictly enforced in bigger cities because it is an actual safety issue for the officers if they can't see into the car.
I mean, if that was like an issue here, but driving at night and tint together is, I don't know.
It would be the same as driving the car with sunglasses on, which is not illegal.
Right.
The difference is you can take your sunglasses off. You can't rip the tint off your windshield.
Yeah.
And this is just side windows. This is not the windshield. The windshield is strictly regulated.
Yeah.
And the insurance question would all come down to whether or not he's convicted.
Oh,
because your insurance policy always has a line in it that says no coverage applies if you were committing a crime at the time.
Yeah.
So if he's convicted, no, his insurance won't pay. If he's acquitted, yes, it will.
Yeah, they'll probably, he probably doesn't have like a high insurance value. I doubt he has over 25 or 50, to be honest with you.
What year is it?
What year is the car? Do we know? I don't even know. I don't even know.
Moderator in chat was saying that, well, there would be a ticket then associated with this case if there wasn't a waiver. You know what I mean? Like he would have been ticketed also in addition to no matter what happened as like having tinted windows, right?
Yeah.
Is that what happened? Is that why people know, I'm sure, that the windows were tinted?
I thought it was a 2011. They're saying a 20. Yeah, that's not going to have, what is it?
No, that's going to be an ACV of maybe 2,500.
25,000.
So it's going to be total loss because you only have to hit 75%. So it's going to be well over a total loss anyway.
So he's probably got like a 25,000 cap policy then, right? Or 50K.
2,500. A 2011, depending on the make and model, would be probably 2,500 to 23.
Yeah, so
or 25 to 3.
Based upon like their statements, because they stated this poor girl was still alive a little, and was suffering. They're probably going to go after the family. If they do a civil lawsuit, they'll go for him personally. But he's probably not going to have a lot of money. So,
but I also have in recent claims that I have worked, I have issued payments to insureds that have been involved in death investigations and fatality accidents. In one of them, the driver was driving a semi, and there was a car parked in the middle of the road at 10 o'clock at night with its flashers going, and he rear-ended them and killed them.
Jeez.
He was not ticketed because the car had been sitting there with its flashers on for 45 minutes and had been reported to the police 4 times.
Yeah, but JP says it doesn't matter the year. We have a vehicle that is 2016 and we have 500K property, personal. Yeah, but that's, you said the key thing, property, personal. I'm talking about like just car insurance, like your car insurance.
Yeah, you're talking about the max policy value versus the actual value of the vehicle. Those are very rarely the same.
Yeah. Queen, you got an email. Someone sent you an email again.
Okay, could his insurance policy be like voided out for this
Yes,
case?
If he gets convicted of this crime, they're gonna void. They're not gonna cover him. They probably wouldn't get that much. The family probably wouldn't get that much either, to be honest with you. But still, I mean,
that would be on the liability and casualty side. So I don't know anything about that. I only do first party and third party actual collision damage. I don't do bodily injury.
Okay.
So that's a whole nother thing. I bet it's probably a lot more.
Yeah, that's a whole other policy. I don't touch it. They keep trying to make me learn it. And I'm like, no, I want nothing to do with it. Not a thing.
Yeah. So Kathy B says, according to the state police, the damage to the car matches up to the statements according to the DA. As said, yeah. A lot of people are saying that he was like, she was in, he drove into the driveway or something like that, drove off the road basically, based upon the skid marks. And I don't think that's possible, because that would be, I don't think the accident reconstruction people would be like, well, she was hit in the middle and he can mess up that badly. I think what most likely happened, he hit her, lost control of his car, went into the ditch and drove out, and then just continued driving, and was probably on adrenaline and just kept on driving, not thinking. Goes to the closest place he can think of, his parents who are not full of adrenaline and anxiety and all that stuff, tell him, hey, you got to go back. They go back and they drive him back, because obviously he's probably all nervous, he's probably all fidgety. You're not going to get him behind the back of the wheel of a car again. So the parents decide to drive him there while he's they're calm, they're driving, he's probably antsy. He gets back to the scene, sees what happens, and then the rest. That's what I think happened. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, most people, when they hit deer, like whether there are skid marks or not, I have seen hundreds of accident scenes where there's no skid marks in the road because they didn't realize anything was going to pop out in front of them for them to hit their brakes. So, and when you hit a deer, my nephew, he hit a deer and it threw his hood up in his face. But then I also know people that have hit deer and haven't realized it until they got home and realized they were dragging the thing. So it may have knocked him out of the road a little bit. I think that you're probably right on that, B. Tim, because it does knock you wobbly. But if he thought it was just an animal, he went to the first safe place, the closest safe place he could, checked his car out, and went right back.
And like his parents probably sat there and they're like, listen, you're too nervous to drive. We'll drive you back. Don't take your car. I'll drive you there. We'll check it out. That's probably what happened. That's my opinion.
There's the other car. Yep. It makes so much sense. Yep.
Yeah. And anyone who's ever hit a deer knows the difference between human hair and animal hair on your car. There's a huge difference. It's very noticeable. So if that is what he saw, I would have gone running back too.
Yeah.
And I, as from an insurance perspective, if I were looking at this and if I knew that he hadn't been charged or he hadn't been, he hadn't been convicted or he had been acquitted, I would not have held those 15 minutes against him.
Oh,
because that's a logical response to hitting an animal.
Yep. Turn around, wait, like talk about it with somebody. It was it was dark.
Also, a very important thing to note, they didn't write him a ticket for leaving the scene of the crime, did they?
Yeah, because he technically didn't, because he did go back, right?
Yeah, and that's going to be a very big problem for them for their conviction, because one of the actual keys to conviction of that charge would be leaving the scene of crime.
Yeah,
like
hit and
scene of
run.
an hit and run. And I
That's
don't think
horrible.
that, and I don't know if they gave him a ticket, the officers, for that. So
They would have to prove he knew he committed a crime at that instant. And I
And he
don't think that's
didn't.
possible right now.
Killing a deer is not, like, if he really thought it was an animal, then that is not at that instant. He thought it could be an animal until he got home and maybe saw the hair, talked to his family, and then went back. I don't know. There's no fleeing there when you go back to something, right?
Yeah. So I think it's going to be a tough case. And that's why I say, like, it depends on the prosecution and it depends on if they have extra facts, because there could be more evidence that we just don't know. But based upon like the facts I see here, I don't think there's enough for a conviction, to be honest with you.
And Gretchen asked if there is a law that says you have to stop if you hit a deer. I am not aware of any state that has that law, because when you hit a deer, that's between you and the deer. The only time you would call the police or anyone for hitting a deer is if you immediately disable your car, or if you want the meat and you need to tag it.
Or like you call like animal control to go pick it, or whatever that department is, to go pick it up on the street if you think it's like in the roadway and it's dangerous. That would be the only reason, right?
I drive past a dozen dead deer every day on the way to work.
Oh,
especially
just
if it's
laying
like in
there.
that season. Ooh, what happened? Did B-Tim get attacked by a dog? Oh no, that was Brianna.
As Dozer being dumb.
Okay. I know. Willows does it all the time.
That was the last you ever heard of B-Tim. That was it.
Tim got eaten by a dog. What happened?
We investigated my true crime. Whatever happened to B-Tim? All we heard was dog barks and he disappeared forever. He was attacked by a werewolf. It was Halloween. But anyway, Queen's got a video up. It says his daughter was...
Yeah. Sorry, I was muted because Nala's over here going off. She's gonna get you.
Barking dog time.
She's gonna get the dog that was barking at the front. She went running to the fucking door. I was like, dude, it was on here. Stop it.
Oh, here comes Willow.
Will's like, I gotta get in on the action too.
Yeah, because I was laughing. She's like, if I show any emotion sometimes.
Brianna's dog barked and set them all off.
All off. Everybody, they're all back.
It's always Dozer's fault, because you can hear him barking from 3 counties away.
Dozer and Duke. Oh my god, I bet they'd have a fucking time together. So anyhow, look. She said this is Chronicles of Olivia. She did a video and she says his daughter was left to die in a ditch, but this is where they show us where she was at.
Okay.
Guys, the spot where this tragic event happened, and it is an injustice because this was a hit and run accident, and she was basically left to die in a ditch. She was alive for 20 minutes after she was hit, and 40 minutes later, the person that hit her came back with his parents in a different
Wrong. 15
but
minutes.
if he had called police in time, she could have survived. And we're going to be showing you the spot, so come follow me, guys. And it was right here where we believe she was standing. Yeah, because there was sangre and there was blood here. And then the vehicle that the man was driving, it veered off here, hit her, and then it kind of went in this ditch over here. And she was found all the way on the other side of the street behind the truck where the memorial is. She was in the ditch with her legs over her head, and
Wait,
she
what?
had her
Can you
brother
rewind that?
blunt force trauma. Like, she was cut open right here where we believe she was standing.
Yeah, she's saying that.
Okay,
she
so
ended
they're
up
saying
across-
but they believe she was standing right there.
And then she ended up across the street?
Well, no, they're saying she ended up across the street and way down here to the right, which would mean he would have to have had hit her from behind.
Yeah.
Coming this way.
Yeah.
That's not the way the car shows, though.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
I don't
because
get it.
there was sangre and there was blood here.
So if he hit her coming from the right-hand side, you know what I'm saying? She would have went to the, down, continued on to the left down here. They're saying that she went to the right.
And
Watch.
then the vehicle that the man was driving, it veered off here, hit her, and then it kind of went in this ditch over here.
Push over here.
And she
What?
was found all the way on the other side of the street behind the
Other
truck
side of the
where
street.
the memorial is.
What?
She was
That
in the
doesn't make
ditch
sense.
with her legs
I don't see
over
any
her
tire
head,
marks.
and
Doesn't
she
make
had
sense.
her brother told me blunt force trauma, like she was
Yeah, that doesn't
cut
make
open
sense.
basically like here, but she was alive for 20 more minutes after she was hit in the ditch, and in that position with her legs over, like touching
How
her
did she
shoulder.
go all the way that far?
But here's where things get weird.
The damage was on the left side of his car.
Dad, he thinks that she.
No, that doesn't make sense. You're saying that she's hit over there and she ends up like, what is that, 30 feet?
Yeah, what do you think, Brianna, of that? That seems really far. Like, he would see her flying, don't you think, if she was flying that far?
Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
she
Well,
crawl?
first of all, there are no tire marks in that grass.
Uh-huh.
And that grass would be completely tore up if his car had gone through there as fast as they say he is going, intentionally to hit her. And if the damage is to the left side of the car, it was the left side of the car that hit her, period. There's no other explanation for it.
They're just making no sense now, then. What? I don't get it. They claimed 80 feet chasing?
80 feet.
Are you kidding
I
me?
mean,
That's
you
real-
can fly if you get hit
You
with a high,
can.
but like to turn, like that looks like you'd have to like kind of go against the force, right?
80
You're kind of
feet is a lot to fly in the air as a trajectory. Like, you know, I don't know. He would have been having to go really fast and hit her at an angle to like throw her to land 80 feet away, because it's like you go in like an arc, right? When you go up and down. So 80 feet is a lot of space.
Yeah, that
to
doesn't make
travel.
sense. I'm sorry. That to me doesn't make sense because you're kind of flying like a boot, like you're making a turn in midair. So you get hit over there and you're making a turn behind that truck over there where the memorial is. I mean, is that what my understanding is? Because they said behind them or over there where that sign is where you're claiming. I don't know which. She doesn't really point out the ending spot.
Where that sign is right there. That would make a little more sense. I thought they said by the car back there.
That's what I heard her say, by the car.
If they're saying 80 feet, and we all know people who throw a shit fit about 13, like, make that make any sense? Yeah, you can fly 80 feet if you're hit by a car going 120.
Yeah, it has to be more than 55, right? Because it would have like a force accelerate. You know, there's like
I just don't see
it.
Yes,
like
conservation of motion. Yes, absolutely. It is physics based. You have to be going a whole lot more than 55 to throw somebody 80 feet.
Because it's like the force has to. Yep.
Okay, so she said behind the truck. So I'm assuming that's the truck over there, or there's another spot. I'm just trying to read the chasing comment. Let me see. I'm going to read the chasing. They meaning BHB and Olivia, not police. I mean, they meaning.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have their own freaking. Show them a physics problem. Like, it's just not physically possible in physics.
This
you know,
is
they'd
according
have
to
to
the
be.
Webster. Okay.
And going around this kind of turn, you can't be going 80, or he would have lost control. If he was going faster, I'm saying, then he would have lost control of his car. Is that what they're saying? He went through this area, that he was going that fast or something?
She could have been dragged and rolled, as people are asking, but yes, he would have heard something under his car. He would have heard the thump of her coming out from under his car. And believe me, she would not have lived 20 minutes or 25 or 43 or all the different times they're saying she did if she were dragged that far.
Even if she was like thrown 80 feet, she means she would have had to go up. I don't know the physics, right? You know, but like a certain feet up in the air as well, right? So I don't. That's way too far for them to be alive, like you said, for that long.
He's got other violations for driving too. I think the record was read by chasing.
I think he had one or two violations. Yeah. One was like going 60 and 55, and one was like dismissed.
Yeah, and also I think he had some marijuana, a conviction for marijuana.
A half ounce of weed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so driving as fast as any of us do.
The
I'm
windshield was
always
cracked?
5 miles over, no matter what the speed
Well,
limit
they
is.
didn't find it during the accident. This is before. I mean, yeah, half ounce of weed on him before this happened. You know what I mean? He didn't get caught with a half ounce of weed when this happened.
Right.
Oh, wait. They said that the windshield was cracked, right?
Yeah.
So
That's what he said. The windshield in the front was cracked, and it didn't look like there was it didn't look like there was hair, and it didn't look like it was from a deer.
Yeah.
Which is what prompted him to want to go back and look, because something he had, you know what I'm saying? He hit something and it
Yeah.
didn't.
Oh, chasing says broken speedometer, not stopping, and a half ounce of weed. The other driving charges aren't him. There are from 2009 and 2011. So he doesn't have driving charges.
That's
Okay.
nothing. Yeah.
Right. So that indecent liberties charge, isn't that the one the defense attorney also said was somebody else?
Yeah.
Oh,
They accidentally
Chasing
read the
said, look what Chasing wrote, left side car, right side windshield. So she rolled, maybe.
Yeah. Probably got hit, rolled off, and then probably stayed on the car a little bit and then dropped off maybe or something like that. I don't know. I'm not an accident reconstruction
But
person.
how did she end up so far? I don't know. Oh, that's just what they were saying.
Here, let's finish watching this and see what else they say. Hold on.
She was actually dragged and put all the way over there because
She was dragged and put all the way over there.
We should have
So you're making
waited.
it sound like somebody fucking did this.
was hit here.
Like somebody hit her and then he just went and put her over there. No, that's not how that happened.
And it was over here where all along here, hair, pelo, uñas, flesh, her nails were, it was all around here, and some of her belongings were scattered here. So how did she end up all the way 80 feet away, 80 feet over there, when we know she was hit in the driveway, and then we believe that her body landed here because of the flesh and the nails and the hair? How did she end up all the way in the ditch over there? Another thing is that there's a security camera over here.
If she was alive for 20 minutes, she was concussed as hell, disoriented, and crawling, trying to get back to the house.
Crawling. That's what I would think. Crawling to get help, you know?
That would make sense. Because then she's dragging herself on the ground, basically.
Yeah.
But she said no, her feet were up above her head, over her head. There's no fucking way you can crawl like that.
Maybe she fell in the ditch. Maybe she was crawling.
The security
and
camera
fell.
proves it, Chasing said.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing, okay, she said you see the corner, you hear the impact. It was very fast. So he comes around the corner. We heard it, you know what I mean?
There's a security camera over here across that field, and I will show you guys the footage, but you can hear the sound of the crash. It's just
right there. So she's saying across the field. So they were clear across the field over here.
Yeah, the camera.
So how did she get hit clear across the damn field? I don't understand.
Crash.
So the camera caught him
It's just
on the other side. Yeah, okay. I gotcha.
Yeah, I don't.
What do you mean you don't? The camera, she's pointing that the camera footage was from there and was pointing this way, like pointing towards this area.
Right, but
That's
the
what
camera was across the field, though. How did they
Yeah.
hear the impact that clear when the camera was across the damn field? And then she was found 80 feet down this way through all that timber.
So you're thinking that someone added the sounds?
No, what I'm thinking is she didn't end up no 80 damn feet down here.
Well,
You know what I mean? I don't know.
But if she was trying to crawl for help and not knowing which way she was going and then fell in the ditch, you know?
It's just not making sense to me.
Not based on what they're saying.
80 feet
Right.
doesn't make sense at
Not
all.
right. It's
Very
not based on what
concerning.
they're saying. Something's not right. This it's not adding.
Something's
shit's
not right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't fit up at all. The
Yeah.
car will tell the story. The car can't lie. It's an inanimate object.
Yeah, the car, like you said, has it has that black box. That
Unless
kind
it's
of
a Tesla. Unless it's a Tesla, then it lies to you every day.
motherboard.
That's a joke. That was a joke.
Yeah, I got it.
To the 10 people that got it in the chat. Detonates when he returned to the scene. The neighbor says he kicked her phone and vape. Yeah, that's not going to be that's not going to be admissible.
I mean, she definitely could have flown across the street. The 80 feet down, all the way down, was maybe crawling. If she was still conscious, I don't know.
Yeah, but if
You
you're
know what I mean?
hit from the ditch there, how are you going to fly make a U-turn and fly there, then drag over there?
I don't think she was. Yeah, they said they were the police report. I thought said that she wasn't dragged though.
Yeah, but
And Sheila just asked. The car was a 2011. Did they have infotainment back then? To a certain degree, it will have an ECU. The information won't be as extensive or easily readable, but they should still be able to get an impact event from it, especially if it in any way alerted the airbags.
Yeah.
Even if they didn't deploy, if it triggered that they may have to, the ECU will have the exact time and the exact location on the car.
Well, yeah, and he gave up everything, his phone. He did a breathalyzer. I mean, I'm sure he probably gave up the damn car so they could, check the car.
Slide says,
that's to become crime scene reconstructionist.
Yeah.
Add that to the long list of jobs.
Right? Oh
Well,
my gosh.
they watched the trial, guys, and they became experts. Just like
Karen
me.
Reed.
Yeah, they watched the Karen Reed trial. They became experts.
From someone who's been doing this for 15 years, they haven't.
Yeah.
Well, that one lady said she witnessed it. She watched it all. The lady that Chasing put up there, the one that Olivia interviewed.
Yeah. I just think the problem is the witness testimony could be I don't want to say it could be unreliable to a certain degree. And I don't know. I'm always a little bit worried with witness testimony when it's about a lot of family that are very emotionally vested in, and their memory can be a little different, or they might have
remember,
or they might have a vested interest to remember certain things so that they can get justice. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
And Emerald is right. Emerald is right. The POI don't lie. They know where that car hit her. There's a very defined point of impact on the vehicle.
The fact that he is not in jail, no slap on the wrist, nothing. So officers did say that they did a sobriety test on him, and they said that there was no alcohol content in his blood. And apparently he was going at 30 miles an hour, but the locals and all the neighbors and everyone I've talked to does not believe this, considering the fact that she was found 80 feet over there. It's physically impossible to be hit at 35 miles an hour and land 80 feet away. He was going way faster. And a lot of locals believe that if he was not drinking, that he was under the influence. The fact that he swerved off the road like that and hit her in the driveway. Another thing is that he had illegally tinted windows. The windows were tinted illegally, and the lights were also tinted, which is, this vehicle was essentially a weapon to have tinted windows. But
nada más quiero justicia para mi hija. Es lo único que pido, que hagan su trabajo. Si no lo hacen, voy a asumir a cada uno de los que hicieron este tipo de trabajo, que no lo hicieron bien. En vez de que el policía tenga las evidencias, las tenemos nosotros. O sea, nosotros somos los que estamos haciendo el trabajo en vez de los policías. Entonces lo que vamos a hacer es, no vamos a parar hasta que se haga justicia. Y I'm promised to Daniela. Justice. Just justice. And es todo. Pero...
See, I don't know. Still isn't adding up to me, but we'll watch it. We'll watch the the video cam again one more time.
Yeah.
Gracias.
You gotta translate that, man.
Justice.
Es lo que buscamos.
Justice for Daniela.
Do you think Olivia speaks Spanish?
Sí, aquí miramos cómo fue que el accidente. Mi hija estaba parada en el driveway. Si le pegas en la esquina por un lado del carro, del lado del volante, si le pegas en la mera esquina del carro y vuela por arriba y cae en el metal donde está la ventana, tuvo que haber botado para acá mi hija en la orilla de esta carretera de aquí. Entonces, ¿qué significa? Él paró y se llevó a mi hija, se la trajo y hace cuenta que la levantó para que no hubiera sangre entre el pasto ni nada de eso. Se la trajo hasta acá, hasta este lugar donde es una zanja.
Chasing said that was the building back there, the video
me la
camera.
vinieron a tirar.
Oh, where?
So he's walking us to the actual location.
Let me translate for us.
Yeah, we need someone to translate.
We can translate.
I failed Spanish, ma'am.
I know. I'm not good at languages.
Es una zanja. Hasta aquí me la vinieron a tirar. Para que dijera él de que era que no sabía que le había pegado, sea un venado a un humano.
That doesn't make sense.
Estamos hablando arriba de 80 pies. O sea, no puede ser de que haya... Si tú le pegas en una esquina a un carro, vas a caer a un lado. No te va a mandar hasta acá, solamente que le pegues al centro del carro. Aún así, si le pegas al centro del carro, cae para enfrente. Entonces, esta persona me vino a tirar a mi hija hasta aquí en esta zanja. Para que él dijera, no miré a qué le pegué. Le pegué a un venado. Como diciendo, le pegué a un venado, me voy.
So he thinks he was dragged.
Regresa.
To this area.
Porque miró que había cabello en su carro enfrente de un humano. Entonces.
Olivia.
So and that he dragged her so that he said that he hit an animal. So he moved her, he's saying. That's
Olivia.
what Monica's like translating. So
okay,
Beaton,
Monica
he thinks he dragged her. Okay, you got it. Okay, good. Read it.
He thinks he dragged her all that way and dragged her to that spot so he can say he hit a deer. That is impossible, because if he basically came back 15 minutes later and the cops showed up 21 minutes, you're telling me like he just somehow went out of his car, dragged her over there, then came to his parents' house, then jumped into the car, and then came back, and then 15 minutes later, and then 6 minutes later the cops show up? That doesn't make sense.
No.
It's also stupid. If you just killed a human and want to claim it was a deer, you don't drag her 60 feet or 80 feet away.
Well, you don't come back to the scene of the crime. You just basically just stay away and be like, I had no idea I hit someone, and just keep on driving, because they don't have your license plate. They don't have your information. You could probably just keep on going and just park your car and get it fixed or whatnot. And if you were just that nefarious, if you were like trying to cover up for a murder, you would probably not come back to the scene of the crime in another car and say,
he would have blood on himself. He would have something on him too. He wouldn't just get home and be all like clean. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't like the way she changes facts. Yeah, she doesn't. Also, please, ma'am, Olivia, why don't you translate this guy? This guy literally sat there for at least 2 minutes. And it would have been nice if you had sat there and translated or paid a translator or got one of his family members who spoke, bilingual to translate for him so that he could be like, we know what he's saying. Just a thought. I mean,
Olivia. I mean, she sounded like she was talking back to him in Spanish. She could have just like easily translated or summarized what he was saying to everyone.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the hell. I don't know what the hell the guy said.
I know. Come on, girl.
I mean, is he civilly liable? More than likely. Would her
Oh, yeah.
parents win a wrongful death suit? Absolutely.
Yes.
They need a
Yes.
lawyer, not Betty and Olivia.
No, this is like a law. Yeah, it's a lawsuit.
Okay, so both
Exactly.
saying Dad is saying the driver took her there to that spot, which doesn't make sense. That's not what happened. That's just not what happened. Sorry. I mean, that's the problem. It's like they're making it sound like he hit her and then he dragged her into that spot so he can lie that he hit a deer. No, that's not what happened. And unfortunately, he's wrong.
So there might not even be any criminal. It might be just civil. You're saying?
Yeah, it could just
Brianna?
be civil.
Yeah. Yeah.
Their story already doesn't match up with the evidence. That
Yeah.
yard would be torn all to hell if he went through
Yeah.
it at 55 miles an hour and then back up the ditch.
Yeah. Makes no sense.
Yeah, so it says no, India, no, she never saw the crash. She saw him come back. Okay. Oh yeah, the Graham thing. I remember that. I was going to show that to you. Like she put the wrong state. She's in North Carolina. In her video, she puts.
Oh my God! Whoopsie.
Whoopsie, wrong state. Like, oh my God.
She's got Tennessee on her mind, doesn't she?
She's always she's always thinking of Tennessee.
Her heart is in Tennessee, I guess.
Her ass will soon be in Tennessee for a while if she keeps it up.
Yeah, Indy, I'm with Brianna too. The evidence won't lie.
But this is the problem, like, yeah, and then like you basically go on social media and you say this, and then people believe what that guy is saying, and then they're thinking, oh, this guy's a murderer. He just did this on purpose. He's trying to cover up the crime. The only way we can stop this crime is to like and subscribe to Bullhorn, Betty, and Olivia, and also donate. That's what they're going to be saying. And it's like, no, what that family needs is a grief counselor and maybe an attorney to represent their interests to see if they can.
Yes.
If
they have like a civil lawsuit. Yep.
Yeah, or they can talk to, and they need to keep their lines of communications with the police open, where like you don't want to burn those bridges with the police. I think like an interview with Dylan Round's mom says a major mistake she did was kind of getting to like too confrontational with the local police, because everyone talks about, oh, we're going to get the FBI, we're going to get the FBI, we're going to get the FBI. But once you burn that bridge of communications, you can, it's not good. You're not going to get that information free flowing going. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's a smart move what these people are doing. Sad to say, but her teeth and vape hair aren't evidence. Horrible to even think about this. Yeah.
And it is possible, with the windshield having been cracked, it is possible that she went up over him and over the roof of the car, which could have moved her a little further down, because that's the way centrifugal force works. Because she would have been in the wash of the car as she was rolling. She'd have been moving with the car while at the same time going backwards. So she could potentially have been traveling for about 55 miles an hour, or whatever his speed was, for a few seconds. But that doesn't mean that he saw her. He saw something. And deer fly over cars all the time.
And he definitely heard something, because that would make a loud, like it did make a loud sound. Like even when you back up and like bump the person behind you, sometimes it makes the loudest friggin' noise, like it just.
No, it still wouldn't have been 80 feet. It would have been maybe 15 or 20.
Yeah, exactly. Like across the street, but not way down. So she could have, like, what is wrong with her crawling if she was like trying
Well, what
to get
happens if
help?
she was in the
People
middle
would-
of the street, she's crossing the street and then gets hit, like, and then flies over. You know what I mean? That would make a lot more sense. Like she's on the car,
That
she
would make more
rolls.
sense.
She's hit high speed. She rolls a little bit off the car drives a little bit. She drops off and then she kind of rolls into that ditch because she's hit in the middle. That just makes a lot more sense if that's the case. But,
They're saying she was
Gretchen's-
waiting for a car, maybe like they.
Yeah,
said,
Gretchen's
she thought it was
mind.
hers.
Gretchen's mind is where mine is. She was in the middle of the road. She saw headlights coming, thought it was her friend, went to jog across the road thinking they were going to stop. But because it wasn't them and he didn't know she was there, he didn't.
Yeah, because he's driving 30 miles an hour. They said 30 miles an hour. So that's not fast. And that's not enough. That just makes our case even tougher to get this guy.
It does.
Because
Yeah.
30 miles is not fast. It is not fast.
It's not enough to make you go 80 feet, not even 30 probably.
Well, it doesn't show that there's negligence. Like if he was going like 75 miles per hour down a dark road, you can make a case.
For
You know what I
negligence.
mean?
But there's accidents where there's nobody at fault. I mean, the tinted windows seem like the biggest part of it, maybe at this point.
Right, and Beer Can said her brother was thrown about 65 feet after getting T-boned. He went out the window, which Beer Can, I am so sorry.
Very sorry about that.
But in that instance, there was the added acceleration and force of the moving vehicle that he was in.
Yeah.
She was not in a moving vehicle. So the speeds combined just do not equal 80 feet. They just don't.
Physics. It's all physics. This whole thing, there's a lot of physics.
Yeah, and like accidents, number one, that's why they have accident reconstruction experts and not YouTubers. Like, even if we all, and that's the problem. And unfortunately, this guy is, I don't know, being fed a story, or he's just basically got his own narrative in his head. And unfortunately, he's not correct.
Wants to blame somebody, or wants to blame him that he's responsible, that it wasn't just like a terrible, like accidents like this are sometimes hard for your mind to like grasp.
I mean, at the end of the day, like this guy lost his daughter. It's a tragic accident. I have sympathy for this individual and his family. But at the end of the day, you can only go by the letter of the law and what you can get people for. And you can't, based upon his fact, like, it doesn't make sense. Even if because there's not enough time. You're talking about 21 minutes the cops are on the scene. So he hits her, gets out of his car, drags a girl, bloody, has no blood on him while doing this, into the ditch, then goes home, tells his parents he's hit by a deer, I think returns to the scene and said, I hit her. No.
Wouldn't work like that. He would have stayed home. Or
he would have just lied and said he would have dragged her to that corner and he would have just stayed home. No one got his plates. He could have easily said, got it fucking fixed.
Going back changes everything. And he's like, sounds like a good kid because he did go back, truthfully.
Yeah,
you
15
know what
minutes.
I mean?
And it wasn't like 40 minutes because she's like 40 minutes. That's wrong. And they said 15 minutes. Because
and he didn't know to call 911 because he didn't know that he hit somebody until he got home and realized that he didn't hit a deer or something, probably freaking out.
And if we have neighbors who swear that they watched him hit her, why didn't they call the cops?
Yeah, like why did they wait 21 minutes?
Exactly.
Why did they wait 21 minutes? It's like you see this lady being bloodied, like they're all watching him hit her, and then they see him drag her into the ditch and do nothing.
And do nothing?
Like
that story makes it doesn't make any sense.
That makes no sense. Like, we saw him hit him, and then we saw him get out of the car, drag her into the ditch, and we just said, hey, we don't know what he's doing. And then we just decide, eventually to call the cops. That doesn't make no sense.
No.
And to answer Celsius only for myself, Betty's thing that she's doing is exploiting vulnerable, hurting people and trying to sick a mob of know-nothings on a man who the police have said did not do this intentionally.
Okay, so I'm curious, who phoned the LE or ambulance? No 911.
Yeah, who called 911? Maybe his parents and him when he got back there?
I don't know. The police they said the police showed up 21 minutes after the accident. Like, I think like 10:10 or something like that.
So I think he should have stopped. I mean, maybe like if he was like, oh shit, he could have but it was maybe he didn't know where to pull over, and he's like, I'll just look when I get home. How far did he live from where the accident happened?
Well, not that far. I mean, like he went to his parents' house. So I don't know if he lives with his parents or he lives by himself. So I don't know.
50 minutes, well, whatever time to get there and back in 15 minutes, so 7.5 minutes, to get there, or 6 minutes to get there, talk to his parents, get in the car, go back. So
yeah, not that far.
So a couple miles, 30 miles an hour, yeah.
Feisty, my ring cam picks up the music from the bar 6 blocks away on Saturday night.
Yeah.
So sometimes it picks up sounds really, really clearly, and sometimes you can't understand the person standing at the door. Ring is not a perfect technology.
He lives with his parents and is close by. Chasing said, thanks. Yeah, it seems like it's only a couple of minutes away. So
by the way, Celsius, I'm not quite sure who you're talking to. And if you have your opinion on the case, you can jump up. There's a link there, by the way. Anyone that disagrees can disagree with your opinion, or you want to voice your opinion, you can jump up and hit the link and talk. It's an open panel. That's what it says.
With asking for help. What are they asking for help for, though? I know they want, like, just, you know, to figure out what happened, and that, I'm sure, is in the process. I mean, are they saying that the police are corrupt or something? I heard a little bit about that they're
Well, now they're saying the police are corrupt. You know, Betty's saying the police are corrupt.
Of course.
I honestly, like, do I think they should have? Did they mess up? They did a sobriety test. Should they have taken him in for like DNA test? Like, not DNA, sorry, blood test? I don't know. I don't know what the procedures are there. I'm not a police officer there. I don't know. But I'm just saying they did a sobriety test. They downloaded his phone. You know, in the day, I don't think they have enough for him to charge, but, you know, like to get a conviction, but depends on if they have more facts. By the way, because Beth's just now got.
You would think she maybe would have learned, since all the evidence that she screamed and screamed and screamed for 2 years, Chief Hadley didn't have, he actually presented.
Mm-hmm.
You think she would learn to shut her mouth?
Yeah. By the way, just because Beth's just now got involved doesn't mean anything. This was all going on for well over a month, man. I'm not sure what the point you're disagreeing with our assessment so far, because, like, so far Betty has stated the wrong information. Olivia has stated the wrong information. They stated the wrong time the man returned. They're stating the wrong records. They're stating things that are just like not facts and are rumors. So I get the family protesting, and, you know, they might be they want the guy charged, and I get it, you know. But if I was on a jury and I found out 15 minutes later, I'd probably not, and if he didn't have any really driving, any other speeding or anything like that, I'd probably not convict him. Because I would look at the road conditions. I would probably, the prosecution would have to do their work for it, to be honest with you. That's just my opinion. But you're welcome to your opinion, Celsius, and if you want to jump up.
Yeah, he's 38 and he lives at home, Veritas. Yes, that's what they said. A lot of, like, that happens a lot. If you look, and, you know, people, like, go back to the nest. It's a thing.
I wish
multi-generational families are becoming a thing again.
Yes, it really is. Which in other
It's called
places in
called not
Europe,
paying rent. That's the thing.
exactly what
People pay
it
rent.
is. It's economy. And
You can avoid
a lot
the
of
rent.
things.
Or you can pay
Yeah.
rent to your mom, maybe. Your mom buys a house and you pay rent to her and you keep the money in the house, you know?
I do agree with Celsius saying that protesting is our First Amendment right. It absolutely is. We have the right of peaceable assembly to address grievances with the government. Please explain to me how exploiting a tragic car accident
It is
is peaceably assembling to address a grievance.
Let me read Celsius' comment and I'll answer. Where has Betts gone after the family? She hasn't. You all say she's harassing the dude's family. That's not true. The problem with Betty is, like, this is the early stages. I'm going to explain to you this is how it goes. She goes there and she states not facts, actually blatant lies about the case. She makes it sound like there's some sort of huge corruption going on. And what's going to happen is that she's going into this family and exploiting this family by not telling them the truth. And the truth of the matter is that you tell them the facts and you tell them, like, listen, best case scenario, you get this conviction for a hit and run. He does 5 years in jail. Worst case scenario, he walks. For him, that's what's going to happen for him. The best case scenario for him, he'll walk. And instead, they're feeding this family, oh, they're corrupt, they're screwed up. You know, you got to protest. And then what they're going to do is they're going to get this family to start protesting while they live stream it, and they get the views and they get the donos. And then Betty, I feel like the next step Betty will do is probably start, if that doesn't work out well, maybe start showing up the guy's house or his family.
They want to punish him.
Like
That's what they do. They do their own form of, like, vigilante justice, where
So
they want to
what
punish this person, I feel.
Yeah. What the exploitation is going to be is you got to sometimes tell the family not good, trying to say it properly. Sometimes you got to tell the family a very ugly truth. And the ugly truth is that the guy's probably not going to do more than 5 years. The guy's probably going to do, and you're not going to get vehicular manslaughter on this guy unless they come up with new evidence of some sort of, some sort of drug usage or drowsiness or something like that. The story about him dragging him in the ditch doesn't make sense. The story, your witness testimony about him kicking a cell phone is not going to get him charged with evidence tampering, because those witnesses are not going to be good on the stand. It's just not. And if you overcharge someone with multiple charges, you can easily get no conviction on anything. But this is like the things you have to tell the people. But what they're doing is they're exploiting them by kind of telling these lies. And then they're going to try to make them do protests so they can film and live stream. And that's a form of exploitation, because unfortunately, what this family needs is a grief counselor, someone that actually that can get them through this terrible time in their life, and also a lawyer, an actual professional that knows what they're doing in a civil matter, and also and someone that can also talk to the cops, because I think they should pursue a civil matter against this young man and get any sort of compensation they can, and they can put the money towards their family, they could put it towards a charity, but either or, they don't need these people. And I'm just trying to say, and just because, that's why you got to think things logically. And that, they're exploiting, Betty's exploiting and Olivia's exploiting the grief of this family.
She is, because it's more like negligence than anything else. When you think about it, the tinted window is even negligence, right?
Right. Yeah. If he put it on there himself, it absolutely would be. Or if it's just not allowed there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Bobby Tim, unless someone's lost a child, we can't judge. The family will have to go through the process. In the meantime, let them grieve. The problem is they're not being able to grieve because they're not being told the truth. Sometimes you have to face the reality of life. Like when my mother went to hospice, I had to face the reality that she was going to die. I could not live in a fantasy land that she's going to magically recover. Okay, I faced the reality, the harsh reality that was going to happen. And that's, unfortunately, they have to face the harsh reality that this guy is not going to do more than 5 years in jail because he's already being overcharged. And unfortunately, there is no huge police corruption, and there is no all that stuff. There is a harsh reality. And sometimes you have to tell the family this, and you're not going to be the good guy telling them this. They're going to fucking hate you for you to tell them this. But you're doing it for their own good so they can heal and move on. Because
look at Betty's live.
Yeah,
I know, she messed up.
And she played Graham, Tennessee.
Oh my God, she has Tennessee on her brain.
What's really sad to me?
There. Oh, did you guys see that?
Yeah, Hulu was there.
Yeah, they were protesting 30 minutes away from where this girl got hit.
What's really sad to me is this criminal case moves forward. The family gets up on the stand to testify. If they get up and they say the things that this man apparently just said, and if he says that the guy went through the ditch, and then the police are like, there were no tire marks in the ditch, that means the jury is going to discount every single word they say. And if he gets up and says anything different, now that he's on tape saying this, the jury will discount every single word they say.
By the way,
so they're actually preventing justice.
Yeah. By the way, Queen Chasing sent you an email, by the way. Chasing sent you an email.
Yeah, but it was pretty rude of you to interrupt Brianna to tell me that. No, it's just a little bit rude, though. You know what I mean? So I just kind of, when somebody says that, give me a chat, shoot me a message in the back chat or something if they're talking, so that we don't interrupt, and you know what I mean? So we're not rude to the person talking.
I'm good.
There's a lot of people in the chat that live with these generation families. She has, this one person has 3 daughters that live at home with a 25, a 22, and a 20-year-old. 3 daughters.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. You must all share clothes.
Number 2 son is 25, and he lives here with the Grand Queen. She's 4. And my sister, 46, lives with our mother in my mother and father's house. They moved in about 5 years after my dad passed to help pay bills.
it's like much more like happening in our country, but it always was like that. Like that's how it works in other countries, you know, just works like that. It's different. We're like all spread out here.
I actually believe that once the prosecutor finds out that he thought he was prosecuting the wrong person, things might change. If he ever realizes that he's trying to prosecute the wrong person and the criminal record he read out was the wrong guy.
Oh, this is interesting. So the mother did say, Jacqueline Mendiola says, update on Danielle's protest and Hulu. She said Hulu will be filming us for a protest tomorrow. We would like as many people as we can have there. Anybody who would like to give a little mini interview about Danny, who she was and what she was like, we would like to have her friends there, and we would love to hear what you guys have to say. So that's where Betty got the Hulu thing from. I can't see them doing a Hulu special though. Like putting this together or putting anything together when it's only been 2 months.
Yeah, there's not like enough of a story, really. I mean, is
Right.
there? Like
The only reason I can see for Hulu filming a protest over this case is because they're already in development with someone for something else.
I was just thinking.
Oh,
Yeah, I was just thinking that too.
Got it. Yeah. Interesting.
Because there's
That makes
so
more
many
sense.
cases out here right now that could be using that. You know what I mean? That could be because this one just happened. And I mean, this isn't even but 2 months down. You know what I'm saying? That nothing has been done yet. Nothing. Like nothing. He hasn't even went to another court date yet, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
cheesy,
now we
yeah.
know why Betty's there.
Exactly.
Yep.
Cheesy. Boom. Yep. The only reason.
I mean, we
My
know who
opinion.
Betty's team is, right? And we know who's got connections with who on that team. And we know that there's been a lot of talk about people making documentaries and reality shows in the last few weeks, hasn't there been?
But then again, wait a minute. Then again, though, Betty could have told her Hulu was there filming too, and it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? We don't know. We don't really know.
That's true. If that came from Betty and Olivia, then it stands about a 99.9% chance of being a lie.
Yeah, but this is mom. This is mom saying it. So if it did come from Betty and they did tell her Hulu was going to be there for the protest, she probably did make a post. We don't know. You know.
Do you see what Army Bet Wifey said? They're protesting for Micah, the preacher. Because the preacher that they think killed her. Is it a different protest, or maybe they're?
Micah Miller's husband is a raging piece of shit, but she unalived.
Yeah, no, I know
The
whole
evidence
story.
for that is overwhelming.
But is there a protest going on there for that right now? Is that what they're saying? Yes, Army Wife said yes. So that's what the protest is. Is the protest over this or it's over that? That's why Hulu's there, the protest over the Micah Miller case. Yeah? I'm confused.
Donna, he's still, I agree, he's still, he's too big of a raging piece of shit to have not influenced her, but he didn't actively murmur her. Sorry.
Oh, they protest every Sunday? Okay, for Micah.
I don't know. The thing of it is, though, they film a lot of stories and they never come to fruition. They never.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if they were down there for Micah Miller and Olivia was like, "Hey, I got 1.5 million subscribers. I'm doing this story." They might have went and, you know what I'm saying? Who knows?
Right.
Really
Yeah,
know.
that makes sense.
I mean,
Something like
they
that.
may not have even been down there. Who really knows? I mean, like, you know,
Who
I mean,
knows?
And even if they were, that's a good point. I mean, I made the promotional art for a Netflix series that the entire first season had already been filmed, and that was 3 years ago, and it still hasn't been released.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, whole things get like.
I mean, we really don't know.
Shell.
You know what I'm saying? It's.
I just can't believe that. I mean, standing there and blowing smoke up these people's skirts while they're hurting is so wrong. Fill them up and puff them up and convince them of your story. And then when they get on the stand, no one's going to believe them because it's not true. Just let them tell theirs.
Right.
Justice.
Es lo que buscamos.
Mm-hmm. Justice for Daniela.
Sí, aquí miramos cómo fue que el accidente. Mi hija estaba parada en el driveway. Si le pegas en la esquina por un lado del carro, del lado del volante, si le pegas en la mera esquina del carro y vuela por arriba y cae en el metal donde está la ventana, tuvo que haber botado para acá mi hija en la orilla de esta carretera de aquí. Entonces, ¿qué significa? Él paró y se llevó a mi hija, se la trajo y hace cuenta que la levantó para que no hubiera sangre entre el pasto ni nada de eso. Se la trajo hasta acá, hasta este lugar donde es una zanja. Hasta aquí me la vinieron a tirar. Para que dijera él de que era que no sabía qué le había pegado, si a un venado o a un humano. Estamos hablando arriba de 80 pies. O sea, no puede ser de que haya, si tú le pegas en una esquina a un carro, vas a caer a un lado. No te va a mandar hasta acá, solamente que le pegues al centro del carro. Aún así, si le pegas al centro del carro, cae para enfrente. Entonces, esta persona me vino a tirar a mi hija hasta aquí en esta zanja. ¿Para qué?
Yeah, it really makes me wonder. So with that being said, is this the reason seriously why BHB wanted the extension for Queen's case to be there in North Carolina? Because she's not getting her yard done, in my opinion. Well, in my opinion, I think she's she's riding Olivia's coattails. Because there's nothing else for her to do. She cannot be in Sebastian's case like that anymore. So, I mean, she needs to find something else to get into. But to go after, you know what I'm saying, to go to this family and add shit and do what she's gonna do. God, I hope she don't. And she's already started, I guess. So.
Que él dijera, no miré a qué le pegué a un venado, como diciendo le pegué a un venado, me voy, regresa, que porque miró que había cabello en su carro enfrente de un humano. Entonces, si una persona supo a qué le pegó, si le pegas a un venado no vas a regresar. Y esta persona regresó, ya junto con sus parientes y todo, tratarse de cubrirse entre ellos, pero no va a pasar eso. Voy a asumir a cada uno, no importa quién sea, papá, hijo, mamá, no me importa. A quien sea lo voy a asumir. Y todo el condado igual. No voy a parar hasta que haya justicia para esa.
She's beautiful.
Oh, she is gorgeous. People are bringing up in the chat a very good question. If her best friend was coming so soon that she conceivably thought this was them, where were they for 20 minutes? Wouldn't they have showed up right after?
You would think.
Yeah, I mean, it's Betty. You know, she's not going to stop until she gets first-degree murder charges, whether they're warranted or not.
Well, she's more than likely she's probably staying with Olivia, or Olivia paid for it.
Hey, Celsius, who said anyone should call the family? I myself think no one should ever talk to families of crimes, period, on YouTube.
I would hope nobody would contact this family, Celsius. I mean, that would be the best thing, is to leave them the fuck be. I would hope no one from here would contact them at all. Hold on, Beer Can Island said, she said, haha, I've been a volunteer though for debris pickup for 3 weeks now, and every morning from 8 to 11. When I was asked to do Andrews Street, I declined. They said she didn't even help. So you can't help clean up your own gosh dang street, your own yard, but you can go out here and ride Olivia's coattails on a different case. Okay. The neighbor said Chase said the neighbor was coming back from work, was sat outside smoking, saw the friend, boyfriend's mom, and Josh and his parents. She was there before everyone else, according to her.
So if she was there before anyone else, why didn't she call the cops?
Not too sure, to be honest. I don't know if the neighbor did. That was the interview that Betty and them are going off of, where she said he looked drunk and all that stuff, We'll go back real quick and play it. It's it's Chasing's interview that she did after yesterday. Betty was saying all this stuff, and I'm glad she did, because the only person that said it was this neighbor, and it's been repeated over and over and over and over again now.
Okay, Chasing said it was after the accident, but before Josh got back, so they didn't realize that she was in the ditch. And that does make sense. I thought she was saying that she saw it happen.
All right, here's the neighbor. This is her recounted story here.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to talk about a heartbreaking tragedy that recently occurred about an hour away from me in North Carolina. On August 20th, a devastating hit-and-run accident claimed the life of Daniela Mendiola, a bright 17-year-old. My heartfelt condolences go out to Daniela's family as they navigate this senseless loss. Our local news has been closely following this case, but unfortunately, it's been marred by misinformation on social media. Some have turned this tragedy into a racial issue, while others suggest that the driver Joshua Brown wasn't arrested because his father is in law enforcement. Recently, I noticed that Olivia and Betty have joined the protests surrounding this case. It's worth mentioning that Olivia and Betty have a reputation for sensationalizing cases, which adds another layer of complexity to the situation. In a poignant video dated September 7, 2024, Olivia interviews a neighbor who witnessed the aftermath of the accident. Let's listen to what she had to say.
And I did not recognize her. So then I walked back over and I was like, so what happened? And Joshua said, I hit her. I thought it was a deer. She was in the middle of the road. Now, his eyes were bloodshot. He was either drunk or had been drinking, or he was high. He stayed in front of the vehicle, the other gentleman on the side. And that was all he said. Other than here, I would tell my story over and over again, because I was here before the EMTs, fire, police, anybody. He was like quiet. He didn't have like a demeanor. He was just like silent. Like, it's almost like someone had told him, just don't speak.
So she's assuming, because she said it's almost quiet, like somebody told him not to speak. No, he was probably in shock when he got back and realized he had hit a young lady instead of a damn deer,
Yeah, I agree. And the bloodshot eyes would be from crying, from dealing with that. I mean,
right.
I wouldn't know what to say. What do you say?
But I mean, he'd already gave it away that he had thought he had hit a deer and went home and came the fuck back. And I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, because if he thought he hit a deer and then was like, oh, no, I didn't hit a deer. I think I hit a person, and then stayed home and was like, oh, fuck it. I'm not even going to go back. Hell with it. I'm not even going to say shit. Would you rather him have done that? I mean, I guess I'm not. I'm glad he went back.
Sorry for my language, but this is like a very angry subject, and I cuss a lot anyway, so. But yeah. Like, I've heard that he's related to somebody in a department and stuff. I have a friend that works at a store up in Liberty.
So she heard he was a friend of the department. She doesn't know that for a fact, has no clue.
That said that his dad was a sheriff for Randolph County.
So somebody at a gas station told her his dad was a sheriff. That's bullshit hearsay too.
And I've also heard that his dad was a sheriff or something for, aliments or a trooper. So I'm like, well, I don't know who the hell he's related to, but he's got to have some kind of damn pull somewhere. And that doesn't make it right.
Quote, I came home and walked over to the car and spoke to Joshua Brown. He was drunk or high because his eyes were bloodshot. He kicked her cell phone out of the road. Daniela's boyfriend comes outside and asks both men which of them were driving the car. The men were Joshua and his dad. His mom was in the car. Joshua was quiet, as if he had been told not to say anything. I have a friend who works at a store in Liberty, and she said that Joshua's dad works for Randolph County. I've also heard his dad was a sheriff of something, aliments or a trooper. So I don't know who the hell he's related to, but he's got to have some kind of damn pull somewhere. I saw court footage, and they had him mixed up with some other guy. So okay, if he doesn't have charges, how do we know they didn't get them expunged from his records? And he likes to go fast. We saw his TikToks. End quote. These are serious allegations and concerns raised by those who were there at the scene. While I'm not asserting the truth of these claims, it's important to consider all perspectives. Let me provide a bit more context. On the night of August 20th, Joshua was driving on Oak Grove Church Road near Garrett Road in Alamance County. Daniela was leaving her friend's house, waiting for another friend to pick her up. Joshua collided with her vehicle, initially thinking he had hit a deer.
Correction, he collided with her, not the vehicle. And that's what Chasing was saying earlier. She wanted to make a correction with that.
He then went to his parents' home nearby and realized the damage didn't match hitting a deer. He asked his parents to bring him back to the scene, at which point he understood he had hit a person. A state trooper arrived after Joshua had already returned to the scene. The trooper believed Daniela was walking in the middle of the road when she was struck. Despite the circumstances, Joshua was allowed to leave the scene after being spoken to by the officer. Initially, the protests seemed justified. There were no charges filed against Joshua because he did return to the scene after realizing his mistake and waited for the police to arrive. However, the lack of charges has fueled further unrest and suspicion within the community, resulting in wanting more clarification, which they were owed. On September 5th, 2024, an article was released from Alamance News. Here is it. The slow moan of traffic in Court Square was briefly drowned out on Tuesday. A rush of demonstrators rallied on behalf of a teenager who was fatally struck by a motorist on the outskirts of Liberty 2 weeks ago. This pop-up protest raised quite a stir that afternoon with its demands of justice for Daniela Mendiola, whose death on August 20th had become a cause for many Latinos in Alamance County. Aside from their grief over the 17-year-old's timely fate, the participants in Tuesday's demonstration were also exasperated by the lack of criminal charges, which at that point had met the 38-year-old driver who ended her life. Trejo supporters channeled their pent-up frustrations over this apparent miscarriage of justice into a boisterous chorus of "lock him up" that ricocheted across Court Square on Tuesday. The pleas of these protesters were apparently answered on Wednesday, when the NC Highway Patrol, which had previously been reticent to file criminal charges, formally lodged a felony charge against Josh Thomas Brown for his alleged role in Trejo's demise. According to an arrest warrant that the state agency filed that afternoon, the 38-year-old white male, who hails from 8963-B Pleasant Hill Church Road in Liberty, had failed to remain at the scene of the accident until he received the all-clear to do so from law enforcement. Although Brown did return ahead of the state trooper, who was sent to the site, his previous departure compelled patrol to charge him with one count of felony-level hit-and-run, resulting in serious injury and death. Later that day, the Highway Patrol issued a news release that credited newfound information for the agency's about face on the decision to file criminal charges. The news release added that Brown voluntarily went to the county jail to turn himself in at 5 p.m. on Wednesday and was charged with a window tint violation in addition to the aforementioned felony. According to the news release, Brown has been placed under a secured bond of $50,000. Brown's arrest for felony hit and run was still more than a day away when Trejo supporters were pounding the proverbial pavement on Tuesday afternoon. But even then, the wheels of justice seemed to have started to move for the deceased teenager and her well-wishers. Shortly after Tuesday's demonstration, Brian Martin, a state trooper with the NC Highway Patrol, told the Alamance News that his agency had just met with prosecutors about this case, which his agency had initially investigated without filing any charges against the driver. "We just met with the DA's office at 2 p.m. today," he informed the newspaper that afternoon. "After that meeting, everything we had turned over to the DA's office, and they'll determine whether to pursue charges."
I think a good stopping point.
You ready to wrap for the day?
Yeah, we've been on here like 3.5 hours, and I got to get stuff done anyways. It's already 4:30. So.
All righty, you have a...
Uh-oh. Well, I guess all righty then. Well, I will see you later, Miss Brianna. Looks like you yeeted yourself off. I know Tim probably is mad at me, so he jumped on, and is what it is. I hope you guys have a good day, a good evening, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Thank you guys for hanging out, and I appreciate you guys showing love. Oh, you hit the button on accident. I wonder where you went because you were saying bye, and then poof, you were gone. Anyways, I'll catch you on the flip side, guys. I'll see you later. We'll try to jump on later. If not, I will see you guys tomorrow. We'll keep, digging into this case and figuring out what's going on.